Warning, this podcast has some swears in it.
I'd rate it PG-13 at most, but let's just be on the safe side and say viewer discretion is advised.
You're listening to the Heroes Blade Vibe Check radio show, where two certified yappers talk for... What? 3+ hours? What do you two have to talk about for that long? What the fuck is Magic the Gathering? Oh, this thing. Yeah, Otacon tried to get me into this one. This is what's getting people into a tizzy? These things? You know what, fine. I'll buy a couple. See where this goes. Rose, we're selling the house!
Do you smoke good, Quinn? It does sound like you're smoking good.
Smoke what?
Oh, God. Well, those ban announcements really amounted to nothing, huh?
Hang on, where we clapping?
Oh, where we clapping? Fuck, that's really important. We should probably definitely fucking do
this
that.
This man is not locked in.
I am not locked in. Holy shit. Okay,
Time to raise your blades, heroes.
And check some vibes.
It's the Heroes Blade Vibe Check.
I
was like, I'll just manually rock this.
No sync, raw dog it, bruh.
Would it be the first time I've had to do it, and I am scared of the people who do it on the regular. Anyway. So yeah, those ban announcements really kind of amounted to nothing, huh?
Yeah, I was actually praying for a no changes, and we got basically that, so hell yeah.
Yeah, we'll go more over some of that later, but I was anticipating a much bigger community upset, and I think like everyone else was, so it's good to see that, again, nothing really happened, and we can continue to play Commander as normal.
It was so funny to see stuff posting like, I have a whole morning that I didn't think I was gonna have now.
It's just gonna go. She was gonna be on the warpath.
Fully locked in for posting.
She's like, you think I just got back from face-to-face games Toronto and think that I wasn't gonna be posting about this potential hypothetical change that wasn't gonna happen?
I bet you she has like 3 folders full of memes, and I want to see the memes that will be unreleased because they didn't happen.
I'm sure if you asked her, she could probably provide. So before we continue, want to acknowledge the opening there that was done by Wes, aka Funny Wes. She regularly does all these like little parody shitposting voice acting things on the internet. You could go check her out on Bluesky, but I know her through all of her Metal Gear Rising posts as Raiden with that growly voice. So fucking funny. Went above and beyond with the whole selling the house bit at the end there that was not asked for. So got more than my money's worth with that one. Very funny.
Yeah, that was really fun.
So next part, let's do some upkeep stuff, aka what are we going to be up to, and what else have we been up to? So we're continuing the guest every 2 episodes trend. Next episode, we got our friend Bert coming in for next episode. I haven't talked or gamed with that guy in a hot minute, so I'm gonna be glad to sit down with him, chat about Magic and Commander and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge fan of Bert and the decks that he be brewing, and playing games with him, always a great time, so it'll be fun to get him in the booth to chat.
Yeah, spooky stuff when you're on the receiving end, to be sure.
Oh yeah, dude comes to ball.
I'm like, boys, quit! I'm smoking mids. Please stop. Yeah, he's bringing the fire, so you gotta come and bring your own fire too. What's going on with gaming, Quinn? What have you been up to?
I've been playing Final Fantasy 13, the one where they have Cloud, but she's a girl.
Mm-hmm. Good app description for Lightning.
Yes. Been having a good time with that. The battle system continues to be pretty satisfying. Man, they really fucking cooked with the stagger meter. I'm glad that they continue doing that in 16, because it is really satisfying to be like, I'm wailing on this foe and then I break their defenses and now I get to deal just like nonstop critical hits on them. Oh, it feels so good.
Yeah, that was the one thing that I've dabbled in 13, and I have it on PC, and I do need to get back into it because after you've been doing your whole Final Fantasy kick, I'm like, I might as well, do my own thing and get involved too in my own way. So I do have it. It was either cheap or it was on sale or whatever. So it's all ready to go. I can play it on my older computer. So I could be like, all right, my girlfriend, which one of the reasons why we're going to be trying to make this episode a little bit shorter than usual, minus one thing, which make it artificially longer, which we'll go over later. My girlfriend wants to play an Avatar game and a bunch of other stuff, and it requires a more powerful computer. So it's like, okay, fine. You can take the booth, and I can get out of here after you get home and after recording is done, and then you can play your video games, and I'll go fuck off and go play something retro, quote-unquote retro. Just this game was made in 2002. It's retro. No, it's not. What do you mean? My knees fucking hurt.
No, that is retro.
Nowadays, yeah. So Final Fantasy 13 with the stagger system. Oh, wait, what was I going to say? In 16, getting that stagger set up, having them topple over to multiply the damage, and then you just start unleashing a bunch of moves, time stopping with like Zanzetsuken and everything, and then just obliterating their fucking HP pool. Feels really fucking good. And in 13, with its more unique live base system where everyone switches roles and everything, it's like, okay, this is the role setup of the party that gets everyone stagger ready, and this is the one that says blow them the fuck up.
You have there's like a unit that you have who's responsible for ensuring that the stagger meter doesn't empty too fast. And you have another unit who does mostly magic, who's responsible for doing the bulk of the damage to the stagger meter and filling that all the way up. And then you have a third unit for support or tank or healing, or there's like a lot of unique roles that you can have your party members take, and customizing them for the situation is been fun in some cases and very fucking frustrating in other cases. Summons in this game are very different, and as per usual, your experience with a summon is it trying to fucking kill you before you earn its loyalty. All of these battles are puzzles, and you have to guess the right configuration of roles for your party, and if you don't do that, you probably lose. And it's a little fucking frustrating to not have the means to get it right the first time every time, because like you're supposed to cast the spell Libra that reveals information about the units, and then you can go to a different screen and see some of that information, but it doesn't say shit about what is super effective against the summon that you're fighting. So I'm just like, I have basically nothing to go on here except for some feedback like from dealing damage or performing the correct action for the role that it wants to see. And you just like, there's not enough time to experiment with that. So anytime I've come across a summon battle, I've just been like, all right, what's the solution to this puzzle? And then it just becomes a challenge of inputting those and doing it at the right times. And that, like, big fan of that once we've got the correct information, but having to fucking guess and not getting Like, what the fuck is the spell Libra here for if you're not just going to tell me, hey, this is super effective against this guy?
Yeah, and that's the tricky thing. Like, they give you some kind of indication of like what to do, but it's still vague enough where you're like, okay, do I really have to keep experimenting and reloading the fight and doing it over and over and over again? Can I not like just do the thing and then I can continue on with the fucking game?
To be clear, I'm not talking about the like elements that are super effective against it.
Yeah.
That are, like, to tell it not to use like fire or lightning or thunder or whatever. No, there's like specific game actions that will fill the meter for the summon to a certain point that are more effective than others, and those you have to fucking guess which.
Yeah, and sometimes it's like, good fucking luck.
Yeah. So with that beef aside, being a summoner in this game, it's pretty mid. You do all of this to get the summons on your side, and then there's these big, cool summoning animations, and then you try and deal damage to the guys, and if you haven't done the work of getting them staggered, you basically might as well not bother. And if you have done the work of getting them staggered, then you're probably capable of doing enough DPS that you didn't need the summon.
Yeah, that is a tricky game when you do have stuff with like subsystems like that. I was thinking of Golden Sun when you're talking about this stuff of like, all of the systems do intersect, but it's just a matter of like what side of the system you want to like really lean on. And in this case, it's like your tried and true sword and board spell casting, saboteuring cycle of stuff will probably do the job. And it's only really up to you to like exploit that stuff, or maybe further in the game it reaches a point where like the summons do a better job. I don't know. Maybe all the different summons have different special effects we don't know about. I don't know enough about the game to really comment any further, but it is unfortunate that it's going to sit in like the middle tiers for your summoner roleplay experience.
Yeah, it is going to sit in the middle tiers for the summoner roleplay experience. I really like it when the summons feel fucking devastating when you use them, and 16 does that great. Like 5 and 6 and 10, and just like a lot of the other ones have also a really good summoner roleplay experience in that way, but like this is just like not really giving, unfortunately.
Well, I suppose we'll have to wait until you actually roll credits to see what your full real opinion is going to be. How many hours?
Yeah, it's entirely possible. I can check that, but I think we're at like 30 or so, 37 hours according to Steam. Yeah.
Okay, so you're kind of getting there.
Pretty close to like 2/3 or maybe like 3/4 of the way through. Yeah, I don't know how much better it's gonna get unless we find a thing that like refills the summon gauge so that I can use that every battle or whatever, and then I'm just like aura farming with summons.
Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, we gotta play some more of the game and see what happens.
In my
what are you playing?
Yeah, my side of the world, I have gotten back my progress in my save of Pokemon Unbound, a Fire Red mod where they backported a bunch of stuff and broke the game wide open. Feels pretty good to play. They did the person who put it together, Skelly, I think is their name. They changed up a lot of things. Your starter cycle is Gible, Larvitar, and Beldum, which
what the fuck?
Yeah, they're the three starting evolutions for a bunch of pseudo legendaries. So you're like, oh, cool.
Like, here, go be a dragon trainer.
I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. And rather than like, okay, so we don't get water, fire, or grass starters, but all of those are available in this game. Like every Pokemon, I think including the Hisuian versions from Legends Arceus are in the game. So like everything Gen 8 backwards, including different methods of like getting them. And instead of like your regional rodent, your regional bird, and your regional bug type, which are usually like some combination of like normal flying and bug flying or whatever, You start finding like ice types fighting and psychic types within like the first couple areas that you have access to. So you are like, rather than getting to like mid end game when you finally get access to ice types and they fucking suck, you're like, wow, I'm not putting you on the team because I literally put you on the team and you explode from like a fighting type or a steel type or something.
Yeah, the move is to give somebody with a but like somebody with the punchy stats, the ice punch.
Yeah.
If you need that coverage.
Like for example, I've very rarely put a snow runt on my team, like, you know, that little like pyramid looking guy, like the little
evolves into Glalie.
Glalie, yeah. So like I like Glalie, but Glalie fucking sucks. So you get to find a Dawnstone and you get to evolve it to a Frostlass pretty early. So I'm like, okay, so like they're willing to like, if you're willing to look or do the work, like you can evolve it. So I haven't had a Frostlass in like any team that I've played in forever. So I was like, yeah, let's give that a go, even if it like maybe it's also not very good, because I think they just reallocate stats around. It has the same like base stat total. Yeah, so there's a lot of really cool things that's going on in there. Like I said, back on track, got everything back up where I needed it to be, and now I'm kind of just continuing on. It's got Mega Evolution that I got to unlock, or just unlocked. So we really are kind of just like doing everything that we've done before, but everything's remixed, and they have like a bunch of like cool custom cutscenes and stuff. Like they were depicting the Kalos War, like with sprites like bashing into each other in the intro, and I'm like, damn, this is pretty sick. So yeah, got some cool stuff going on there. And I'm getting back into Monster Hunter Wilds. They did a huge performance update. Like they've been having major updates for like when monsters are coming out and everything. So just recently was update 4, title update 4, where they added in like a giant elder dragon made of like oil. It has ancient weapons on its back that it can like, you can dislodge it and shoot it with it. Like it was like,
what the fuck?
Yeah. And it's like, hey, you got to hook up like this bioenergy like to it like a battery, and if you hook it up 3 times, like it deals like 5 figures worth of damage or something fucking crazy. Like it was fucking cool.
That's impressive number go up technology.
Like you're like, you know, hey, maybe if you like stat yourself properly or whatever, you can get to like over 1k damage for like doing great sword swings or all this other stuff. But they're like, here's this super cool laser weapon. And then you just shoot it in the face after some setup. And as long as you don't fucking die, because this damn thing hits hard. So right now, so back to the performance update, because that was the one thing for PC players that were having an issue, is that there was just so many things going on in the background that people were having issues with, that they're like, my super expensive like 4K rig can't run this game or shit without like all these weird glitches or visual things happening. I remember when I started playing, a model of a monster was in the distance and it was like stretched out towards my camera past my viewpoint. So I was just like, I'm seeing this thing going like wiggly woo on my fucking screen. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And then eventually, you know, that got all fixed up. And now things are apparently running smoother. Things aren't like automatically tanking your performance in the background just because you can't see it. And let me tell you this one, the thing that was like, what the fuck is going on here? So they learned, someone did some testing before the update happened, where they were playing on like a friend's account or whatever that had bought all of like the cosmetic DLC in like from the store, and like some of it's like extra layered armors, like most of it is just like layered armor, music, other characters get like costumes and all this other stuff. And apparently what the game was doing, that it was running checks in the background for how, like, what DLC you had, but if you didn't have the DLC, it would actually like slow your game down.
What the fuck?
And it was like making these checks like every few minutes, so people would just be like walking through like one of the port like towns or whatever, like where the hub is, and like suddenly they drop frames from like over 60 to like below 30, and they're just like, what the fuck is happening? It was apparently tied to a check to the DLC, and they apparently got that fixed up, and everyone's like, Capcom, what the fuck are you doing? Get your shit together.
That's very funny. We're just like, hey, do you have the DLC? Hey, do you have the DLC? Hey, do you have the DLC? I'm just like, bro, I've loaded the thing. Like, you already know
I am playing the game, and the answer is no, because the total, you know what, let me do just a quick check in the background, while we move on to other media that we consumed recently. The DLC total is like an absurdly astronomical amount. So you watched another movie.
Yeah. I very annoyingly posted the other day that I watch like one movie a quarter, if that. And this time we watched one of the Jonathan Wickerman films.
That Jonathan Wickerman? I can't believe it.
Yeah. Yeah, we watched John Wick because I needed to know what the actual fuck anything that was in reference to that was about. And we just had to like demystify all of that for us and see what's up.
Mm-hmm.
So watched the film, had a pretty good time. It's a, I don't know, like bog standard action flick. The guy does the shooty guns real good. He drives the car real good. The thing that I really like about it is the like background setting that it builds around John Wick being very competent.
Yeah.
And the like mythos of this like assassins guild and these like spaces that are neutral ground and they are like enforced to a degree of lethality that's like, wow, okay. And exchanging goods and services for a unique currency, just like straight up gold coins.
Yeah.
I just like thinking about that universe more than I liked watching the movie, I think, and that's like totally fine.
Yeah, like that's, if the one thing that it does very well about, I think one of the things that any type of show or movie or whatever where the background lore isn't fully explained of like how the fun, like how does this world work, right? Like they offer you enough to like tease your imagination, but doesn't hold your hand or explicitly tell you like the full workings of it. Unless there's like supplementary material or they're like, hey, we have a book, like we have this book that gives you like the lore book. You're like, ah, yes, give me the lore book. I don't want to watch any of these movies. Like, who gives a shit? So yeah, the fact that like it's like, okay, you know, basic fundamental stuff of Keanu Reeves as Jonathan Wickerman is who could this man possibly be? And then all that needs to be said is one guy says, why the fuck did you hit my son? And then he says, well, he took John Wickerman's car and shot his dog. Spoiler alert for like a however old movie.
And then you just immediately the tone changes like, oh,
and that all that needs to be said before, you know, the guy obviously like gives you kind of like the, all right, I'm going to give you an exposition about who this guy is as we flicker back and forth between one scene and Jonathan Wickerman.
Just like, yeah, we called him the boogeyman, but he's the guy you send to kill the boogeyman. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. And everyone,
that's who this Jonathan Wickerman is.
Instead of the Slender Man, it's the Wickerman. So yeah, they managed to establish a lot of cool things, despite the fact that like some characters you do not see for very long time, right? I
think about that fucking cleaning crew all of the time. He just like hands you a gold coin and they make all of your work go away. And the dude at the front desk in the Continental Hotel just like discussing
rest
these...
in peace, Lance Reddick. Like, what a fucking guy. What presence, you know?
Yeah, truly.
You're like,
incredible.
hello, welcome to the Continental. You're like, yeah, hey, here's a coin. Are you back? Are you back in business, John Wick? Yeah, I think I'm back. You know, like,
people have been asking me, and I haven't really had an answer for them. But yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
Like,
it's so sick.
We have fucking John. Oh, fuck, I'll never be able to pronounce his last name, despite the fact I've heard like John Leguizamo, like the guy who was running the car shop. And you're like, he's in there for maybe 5 minutes of screen time, maybe
just long enough to give us some fucking backstory and presence and weight to John Wick.
Yeah, he's like, hey, this is funny, huh? Here's the guy, makes the phone call, gets some booze out as an offering, and point him on his way. And then like everyone else is just, yeah. I know everyone's been like telling you to like, you don't have to watch the other ones. And like most movies like that have like some kind of sequelitis issues, like you don't necessarily have to. But I think if you do want to see more about the rules and the lore of like the world, do eventually in about approximately 3 to 4 months watch another one, and then maybe you get more you'll drink more from the chalice that is the John Wick universe of this like underground assassin world. They do a good job with it.
Yeah, I might check the rest of those out. That should be a good time. I think like 15, 20 years ago, this would have been a sick movie tie-in action game. It would have been a 7 out of 10, and I would have adored it.
And that was the thing. Like someone was like, what's his name? A guy on YouTube that Racefic, I think is his name. I love watching that guy's videos because he usually goes to talk about like, hey, there's this like video game tie-in to whatever popular franchise, and it turns out this game is fucking sick. It's delisted. You can't play it. You're like, no, why? And then he recently did one where he managed to play the 2 John Wick like tie-in games, and they were all like VR and all this other shit. And he's like, so let me tell you about the devs. They had no prior history. They were like, hell yeah, I do it. And the game has like 4 levels, and you're like, what? But it's fucking John Wick. Like, where's the fucking Max Payne like style of like shooting or something? Like something to like tie it into it, and it just doesn't exist. And it's the most disappointing thing because I feel like there could be a lot that could be done. Final boss, John Wick. You don't win. Jonathan Wickerman fucking kills you. So yeah. We'll see what.
Yeah, good films. I like to think about Abe Larbo that exists in that universe.
Yeah, there are a few. They do give you more. And then Halle Berry shows up in the 3rd one.
Oh wow.
So yeah, they get some names. They get some names in there. They got quite a lot of different people that you wouldn't expect to see, including some that you're like, I don't know who you are, but you do a good job as like this absolutely heinous human being. I wonder what horrible thing will happen to you. A fucking pencil. And then I watched James Gunn's Superman finally on the weekend. Good movie. Golly gee, nice. That was a fun, good movie. I think in a world where we've become maybe a little apathetic to a good superhero movie, it's nice to like sit back and be like, you know what? Like, it has some minor flaws and maybe some minor nitpicks that could be had with it, but for the most part, everyone's like bringing their A game. The guy who's playing Superman is fucking fantastic. Lex Luthor is fucking pathetic, and it's great. Where the only thing, honestly, the one thing you can know about it, where he's just standing around saying 1A, and it's like this thing. It's like a whole bit. But it kind of is like, all right, we're just going to cut through the tedium and the bullshit. Like, you know who Superman is, right? We're like, yeah. They're like, okay, cool. Opening scene. He hits the snow and he's bleeding and breathing badly. Like he can't breathe. And then you go from there. You're like, huh, Superman's getting his ass kicked. Where can we go from here? And it's pretty great. It's pretty good.
Goodness.
Yeah.
I'll check that out in 3 to 5 business weeks.
All right. Well, at least it's better than on my desk in 2 weeks. You know, you do need a little bit of extra buffer time. All right. Let's do some vibe checks.
Yeah. I have one from gameplay. I think we already know about this, but I played Jaws the other day and cast Jaws, picked up the Hero's Blade, hit somebody for 8, made 8 blood tokens, and it felt fucking credible. I am once again vindicated that guy passes the Hero's Blade vibe check.
I would be shocked to see if somehow that opinion changed. Yeah, I'd be a little concerned even. I'm like that, but he's so good. How good is Jaws? Let's find out.
Very. Oh, I also saw a Genova play the Hero's Blade the other day.
$122? What the fuck? All right.
Fucking yikes.
Okay, regular set.
Print one of those out, gamers.
It will show up in a regular.
Jaws.
It'll show up in an in-universe version.
That is also true. You should be able to get your hands on it in normal booster packs that way.
But yeah, so you were saying about Genova. Genova was picked up the blade.
Yeah, we also saw a Genova deck that picked up the Hero's Blade, and like we talked about, the free 3+1/+1 counters absolutely mattered.
It does. It really does add up a lot. Pretty spooky stuff. Let's look ahead a bit at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and before you switch off the podcast, just it's only going to be for a brief moment, all right?
You better not fucking switch off the podcast, you whimsyless nerd.
Yeah, come on, get on my level. Actually, wait, don't do that. Be better. Raphael the Night Watcher was one of the many rares and mythics that was previewed randomly for reasons. We got 2 and a double red for a Mutant Ninja Turtle. That's a 2/3 with Sneak for 1 and a double red, which says that you may pay for its sneak cost and then return an unblocked attacker you control during the declare attacker step. He enters tapped and attacking.
It's
with
declare
the
blocker step, but yeah.
Unblocked during the declare blocker step. Gotcha. Attacking creatures you control have double strike. That's it.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Comes down as a 5/5 with the blade and has double strike. So it's like, yeah, you 1, you didn't block, so take 10. And 2, now all the other creatures that are coming in have double strike, and that could be a little spooky as a kind of combat trick. So
now the whole LGS knows you're a coward.
Yeah.
Get him.
Don't be a fucking coward, and maybe you'll live. And I can't sneak in this Raphael. Not exactly like one of the cards at the top of my list of like, yeah, I think I'll go grab this from the Ninja Turtles set, but I do expect some absolute bullshit to be happening when I'm like, what's the worst that can happen? And then a Raphael shows up to the party, and then suddenly it's the worst thing in the world. So yeah, that's it for vibe checks, unless you got something else.
No, just Jaws and Genova confirmed.
Yeah, sweet, simple, to the point. Let's go into comments for this episode. What do we have? Who do we have here?
We got Destroy Ender. I was like that gif of Leo DiCaprio pointing at the TV, hearing Al mention my Tristan review. Also very excited for Fae to play FF13. It's my favorite, and it is overhated. Hey, and I'm enjoying it, so I'm glad you've been like that. That's one of the ones that you liked.
Because we know it's not everyone's. Angry
Yeah, it is a little weird.
It is a little weird. I actually forgot to ask earlier, what do you think of the main cast overall? Like,
I think that they are all pretty cool so far. Hope is just a tiny bit annoying, but I get that he's going through a lot, so I would be the same in his shoes, TBH. And he's gotten pretty cool by the point that we are in the game, so that's cool. And then Lightning was very edgy and closed off, and seeing her open up more towards the end of the game has been nice. Saz has been a cool dude the whole time. Yeah. Fang, I was just like, yep, That's genetically engineered in a lab to be cool.
She's a dragoon.
You are.
So, yeah.
And yeah, she's a dragoon, which, like, I was clapping and pointing when I made the connection. Because, like, I just saw her with the spear, and she does the tank and commando rolls. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's cool. And then she jumped up and landed on a dragon, and I was like, oh, you're my dragoon.
Yeah. Actually got the more anime treatments of her and Vanille for my Rutstein Umori deck, so I'm looking forward to finally make fucking Ragnarok, which I guess is like a weird spoiler alert for the game, but looking forward to their synergy.
We have that information at the point that we are in the game.
Oh, okay, fantastic. So it is known. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Final Fantasy 13. Let's go. Angry Murdoch saying, if you make a Rafik of the Many as Link, you know full well you're required to put in a grappling hook. Yeah, because
of course, dude, that's the hook shot.
You gotta get the hook shot, or claw shot, depending on which games you're playing. But yeah, we gotta.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? We need to go back. We need a hook shot back in our lives. I was just like thinking, I'm like, now that like, whatever direction Nintendo is going to be going, I'm like, we need to go back to like more of an action thing where like maybe Link can do like a Nero thing where he like hooks onto something and drags himself towards it or someone towards it.
You want Link to use Stinger?
Yeah, I want Link to use Stinger, but mostly I'm like, we could take a kit, like something out of Nero's kit from like Devil May Cry 4 and 5. Just
and grab the Devil Bringer.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? Hey, you know what? That was the thing that was missing from Tears of the Kingdom, was after Link's arm got replaced, he could just buster people and just fucking start like suplexing them and shit.
That would have been so sick if instead of being a survival crafter, it was Devil May Cry.
Yeah. We can have our action, our Legend of Zelda action game of our dreams. It's about time. All right, who's the next commenter here?
Up next, we've got one from, I think, Jackal Girl. Yeah, that's how she pronounces it. Hey, Charlotte. Great episode. I love Steph's energy. One thing that wasn't touched on in the soapbox that I think is important is the importance of actually playing precons that you buy, even if you're buying them for the cards in them. Try the deck a couple times, and maybe some cards that didn't appeal to you at first will stand out. That very much happened to me in the Final Fantasy VI Marty precon. Hell yeah, I absolutely advocate for that. Just like playing the precon straight a couple of times to see what's good with it. And if it meshes with you, then hey, maybe you found a new deck. And otherwise you can do what you're going to do with those singles or whatever. But just, try that out. They're providing you with a very cool gameplay experience, and you're leaving value on the table if you don't at least see what's up.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the 5-color precon as an example. And just the last weekend over on MTG Lexicon, Lenny was like, yeah, I don't think I'm drift compatible with the with the maker of this deck. And then meanwhile, you have a bunch of other people who are being like, nah, actually, I like the 5-color deck more than the Jund one and all this other stuff. So yeah, take a chance if you're into buying precons, or just borrow one.
Definitely
like, be like,
check
hey,
those
I
out.
know you bought one. Can I borrow it and play it for this game and kind of see where that goes?
You can also pull it up on the deck building website of your choice and do the playtester function on one of those. I'm sure they all have them. So yeah, just get in there and check it out. Play a few hands, see what's good.
And then for our last comment here, Stephen back.
There's one after that.
Oh, never mind. There's two more after that, or there's one more. Yep. Alter No Ego, saying light being Grima Wormtongue makes all the sense. Yeah. However, I object to Steph being put on trial without legal counsel. # Team Steph. we did kind of drag her.
Fair enough.
We dragged her into the courtroom like immediately. Well deserved though. You can't just be invoking Empress Quinn and not have repercussions come your way.
Out here saying greedy keeps are acceptable. Goodness, learn your lessons, gamers, please.
All right, now for the last comment.
Yeah, the homie Steven says, glad to hear the oxen are working out for you, Cole. Great episode as always.
Yeah. I finally got a Restless Bivouac out in the Sephiroth deck. Fortunately, did not animate it, but I was hoping to. But you know, we make do with what we got with those decks, and more opportunities in the future for more Oxen to show up for sure.
It's so funny how those Oxen are actually like good in that deck.
Yeah, I was like, come on, how good can they possibly? All right, Steven might be onto something here.
Yep.
More experimentation required. Yeah, and it's been going good. So yeah. Let's go do some DJ Space Girl stuff.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. We got a new DJ Space Girl track here. And as I quote, I have a bunch of samples intended for use in fighting games from hip-hop and darkwave recording artist Rainy, and we used our powers for evil to create atmospheric trap music for your fan cams of your fighting game sad boys. Alright, let's get this shit started.
It's that time again, huh?
Round one, start.
Hold that. Take this. You know what time it is. Hold that. Take this. Oh, it's up now.
All right, yeah, good stuff. Thanks for another banger. Hey, before we move on to creative media, should we point out what you got cooking in the background here?
Yeah, I have decided to do the thing that people were asking of me and put my music up on the internet in a place where you can buy it. So we have created a Bandcamp at djspacegirl.bandcamp.com. There's like nothing on the website currently, but you can go there and follow that, and We will populate it and eventually put the music up there. Yeah. Debut album, Space Girl Story, coming soon. Stay tuned.
So when Quinn gets fair ducks in a row and fucking gets that website up, I expect everyone to give every single dollar. I want you to trade in cards for cash and give that cash to Quinn.
You were wildin'.
No, but come on, like people have been waiting for this shit for a while. They're like, "Hey, where can I get an Empress Quinn track?" It's like, okay, well, here's a Google Doc, like you can start making some money. People could be like, "Can I pay you to run Redacted in the background of my stream or whatever?" And now you can do that. But also you'd probably just be like, "Yo, yeah, sure, go for it." They're like, "No, Quinn, money on the table. That's what buys you Magic cards."
Yeah. So anyway, follow my Bandcamp.
Okay, so now let's go to creative media or news or whatever. What do you want to refer to? Quite a few things from me this week, and then like one particular thing from you. But we'll just zoom through these pretty quickly. So, hey, the Commander banned and restricted announcement happened today. They were tying it in to the regular banned and restricted announcements they were doing for all other formats. Guess what? It was nothing to worry about. Back to work. Biorhythm is unbanned, as well as Lutri, the Spell Chaser, is unbanned, but not still is banned as a companion. Thank God.
Yeah, I feel vindicated for all of the years that I've been playing Lutri in the 99 because she's literally fine. She's literally a worse dual caster mage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we think now that it's like now that we can like I don't know, like Lutri was automatically banned and I was like, okay, yeah, sure, like whatever, nothing to worry about. But now that it's like, oh, you do need to get the cast trigger off, I'm like, oh, okay, then this is actually not as great as I thought it was. But I also think I wouldn't want it in the command zone. Or sorry, not the command zone. I guess you could do that now too. Huh.
Yeah, you can put it in the command zone if you want, but if you want to play blue-red otters, you're probably better served playing like Alania, who forks your instant sorceries and otters. I guess if you're trying to smoke mids, then maybe you play Lutri. I don't know. Get back to me on that, gamers. If you care about blue-red spells and
be our boots on the ground, because it sure shit ain't gonna be me. My buddy Dave, like I share like the links and everything. I'm like, hey guys, this is what's going on, and then he sends me like the most unhinged photo that I think I've ever received from him for anything.
Oh my gosh, you posted that and I was like, what the fuck is this?
And I'm like, what the fuck, right? So he sends me, and it's like a sideways photo. Like I think that was the more unhinged part. He sends me this giant stack of Lutris, and I mean like 3 rows of just a thick pile of Lutris, and he's like celebrating the Lutri unban pretty hard here, and I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, I've been buying them out for the last little while expecting this. 440 copies.
Brother,
so
please. Mate.
I can't think or imagine how much Lutri is going to be going up. But if this was the craziest spec of all time, I don't know what is. Like, unhinged, absolutely unhinged behavior. I've known this guy since we were in high school, like when he was 13 and I was 14, and I'm like, brother, you're a father? You're an engineer? What are you doing buying 440 copies of Lutri? Like, what the fuck? Oh my god. Anyway.
Yeah, it's fucking bananas. Some people's children.
Yeah. Anyway, Farewell is also now a game changer as part of this announcement. You want to know more of what their thoughts are on behind the unbans, the addition to the game changer list, and as well as any other considerations for what they might be unbanning in the future. Go check out the article. It's on the what do they call it? The mothership. Yeah, that's what they call it. I don't know. cool. I'm not playing any of these cards anyway, so like moving on.
I only care about Lutri, basically. I don't play Farewell a whole lot. I don't think I've seen it cast in bracket 2 anyway, so people kind of already treat it like a game changer.
Yeah.
And it sure feels like one when it resolves.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think as part of the thing that I'll be talking about as my soapbox later and as part of the New Year's Resi thing, I'm like, if I'm going to be using up my game changer slots, I don't think Farewell is going to be taking those up.
Yeah, there's different wraths that you can play.
And like also like, yeah, I just feel like the other wraths that can be played will be far more synergistic and asymmetrical for your goal of like whatever you're trying to do.
How about Merciless Eviction? Didn't that feel good? That's still good.
And you know, Austere Command in terms of like a modular board wipe is still.
An Austere Command shaped correctly around your board state, beautiful.
There was I had it played against me with my local pod, and it was like they chose just creatures, and I was like, I looked at my board state with all like my enchantments and stuff, and everyone else is like, "Are you sure about that?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna get all the creatures." And the board state was pretty fucked up. But I was like, yeah, sure, sounds good. And then I was like, thank God it wasn't a Farewell. All right, it's time to gush about you again, because you finally had episode 5 of DrownSecrets.fm come out.
Yeah. We found the appropriate amount of inspiration, and we hopped in the booth and printed out another episode. So that is available wherever, not wherever, it's on the MTG Lexicon YouTube. So yeah, tap in, click the buttons, and leave your, I guess, bad beats stories in the comments below there. There's also the comments on this podcast that you can do that. There's also the hashtag on Bluesky, DrownSecrets.fm. Make sure you spell out dot. That's part of the bit. You just submit in all of those places. Let me know your drowned secrets, and we'll drown them beneath the radio waves for you.
Put it in the pipeline of anyone within the radius of Empress Quinn, and we will find some way to filter it right onto Fairlap to go into the mic to get it back out to you in the world, so we can all collectively come together and be like, damn, that fucking sucks.
Yeah, we would love to commiserate for you.
So yeah, DrownSecrets.fm, go check that out. Please let us know how you fucking biffed it in the game of Commander, and then we can have Quinn continue to make Drowned Secrets. All right, so, you know, Mike has been really doing a Herculean effort in getting people to come our way. He mentions us over on Am I the Bullcast like every dang episode. The man is doing us a service. So not only that, but he also managed to get Andy and Kyle from the Legendary Creature podcast over on to do an episode. And, you know, so if you like LCP, go check out Am I the Bullcast. Mike is doing a great job. I love hearing all these stories, sometimes the most unhinged things you've heard in the world, including the live show that they did with the fucking hot Pepsi out of the back of the car bit. I was like, that's fucking bad shit. And I'm glad that Andy and Kyle were able to like go somewhere that wasn't their own podcast and be like, and to quote Andy, was like, oh, it's like kind of therapeutic to like talk about the things where they may or may not be the bull list, and have like, you know, they're like, yeah, we're going to have an episode where you pay us money to tell you what we can complain about in Commander. Or like,
it was very funny to like hear that story about ganging up on the new guy and just like being in that situation. Like I've fucking been there, bro.
Yeah.
Just the other day, homegirls got the fucking turn 1 Soul Ring into the Mana Dork, and then turn 2 plays Urza, Lord High Artificer, and we're just like, well, this game is basically over. And then homegirl casts the Vanquisher's Banner and a Kindred Discovery, and she's on Mirror Typal, of course, so she's casting all of these, and we're just like,
okay.
Well,
All right.
But she's like a brand new to playing Commander, so I'm just like, you don't know that these are fucking busted yet.
like eventually at some point, she might be able to get it out of her system, and then you can move on to like a much better experience. But until that time,
yeah, eventually she'll grow out of that, hopefully. But in the meantime, it's just like, all right, enjoy your powerful cards. I have also been there.
Or you could be
I
like
had Conrad
us
in the command zone for a while. I get it.
Or you could be like us and be on the receiving end of two players playing turn one Soul Ring into something.
Oh my gosh.
That was a brutal experience.
I have never felt more banned Soul Ring than that moment.
Yeah, no. If it was like, I know, because there's a lot of conversations going on about like what now with the ban, with the current ban announcement out of the way, what crazy hypothetical bullshit can we come up with for the next update, which will probably happen in May or something. Maybe.
I don't know the BNR schedule.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they do it like every quarter. But having Soul Ring be a game changer, I think wouldn't be bad at this point, but that's not up to me, and I'm not on the format panel, so
I've started talking about that in the like bracket 3 deck introductions, where we're just like, so this is my Dragonhawk deck. It's bracket 3. My point spread is Soul Ring, Jessica's Will, and Ancient Tomb, and we're here to deal burn damage and hit you with a large.
And then speaking of shoutouts, our boys over at Brew Review, they are celebrating their 3-year anniversary. So if you want to help friends of our show out, go check out Laz and Cody's merch. They got some new stickers and shirts out. They commissioned an artist, and they're dressed. Let's see, Laz is dressed as what the fuck is his name?
Fucking Markov.
And Cody is Captain Howler, which is fucking sick with that fucking cannon. I don't want stickers, but I sure do want a comfy t-shirt, so I'll be looking into that.
Hell yeah.
So Kristen article time. She's got a few up from the last.
Man. This first one has
your name
I'm
right all over it
in recognition.
The 4 articles that I got here starting, I think it goes in reverse order from when they came out. Is Lifelink the king of casual commander? The answer is yes. Why unconventional commanders can be way more fun. 10 crazy synergy cards for Lorehold the Historian, because we got the preview of that dragon out a couple weeks ago now, like 1 or 2 weeks ago now. Pretty busted, rummaging on everyone else's upkeep, having Miracle 2 for all the cards in your hand. Yep, that could be pretty fucking spooky. And then last article, Twilight Diviner. Diviner? I'm thinking Diviner, but I think it's Diviner.
I don't think it fucking matters.
Who cares? Has me wanting to rebuild a Chainer Commander deck, to which then we're saying that's a fucking lie, because Kristen immediately went like almost a 180 and was doing something else, which maybe eventually
so how
when we
about
get
redacted?
When we get her on, maybe it'll come up. We don't know. We'll find out. But for this particular set, hey, why unconventional commanders can be way more fun, especially if you're doing stuff for typal lists. Looking over at you, Quinn, with your Toxrill Fairies deck.
Yeah.
But yeah, go check all those out. I always enjoy Kristen's articles, and I hope you all enjoy them as well. Reminder Text has a new video. Quinn, get ready to hit the bong. This $30 pile of removal is my new favorite commander deck.
What the fuck?
So the commander, as he had displayed the card to us, was Bracco Heartless Hunter.
Who?
The Through the Omen Paths guy? You know? The one that you should know?
No.
Okay. Craven the Hunter.
Oh, okay.
You're like,
I also don't know what that card does either.
All right, let's go through it. So 1 black and a green for a human warrior villain that's a 4/3 with trample. Whenever a creature an opponent controls with the greatest power on creatures that player controls dies, draw a card and put a +1 counter on Kraven the Hunter. Or Bracco Heartless Hunter. Basically, it's a win con in the zone, because if you're killing people's stuff, then you just punch harder.
Yeah, it's basically Shay McCormack, but in green-black.
Yes. And you get to draw cards, too, which is pretty helpful. So yeah, he said he had a magic artist come up to visit him, and then they went to a, like, the kind of quote-unquote nerd flea market where all these, like, stores were based out of, and he bought all of his cards there for, like, dirt cheap, like he said, for $30, because it was every single, like, 2-mana kill spell and the really cool ones that you can think of, and he put it in a deck, and he took it out with his friends, and he said they had a good time, they enjoyed it. So it seems like a success. If you want to take a look into that, maybe for those duelist commander damage players out there from LCP, go take a look into that one.
Yeah, the way that that's described is kind of giving Duelist Voltron. We'll see if the, like, play experience or whatever that it's offering matches up, but from the description, pretty neat.
Yeah. We do have a I don't know if he doesn't have it anymore. I'll have to ask him, but he was playing Kraven in our group, and yeah, it got kind of spooky having a giant, like, trampoly dude. I'm like, at least it's not Chevelle. Like, I don't know why Chevelle with the bounty counter was, like, the more annoying one, but anyway. So hey, this last weekend, Tolarian Community College raised over $600,000 for Trans Lifeline. So
Yeah,
hey,
fucking
holy
rules.
shit. I was gonna say this time, hey, keep a lookout locally or whatever, like, make your donations where you can, when you can. Check out if there's any mutual aid you can do, because people need that stuff. But we should also celebrate big fucking 6-figure fucking fundraisers and stuff going on, like, over the course of a fucking weekend. It's fucking insane. So yeah, good stuff. Happy to see that.
Yeah, Trans Lifeline does good work for the people, so it's good to see that level of support for them. The Magic the Gathering community in particular is like, that's yeah, we out here. So yeah, that's, like, cool to see us all come together to do that.
And then this last one's from the Spike Feeders. I built 7 Lorwyn Eclipse decks before the set was public. So it's kind of nice to see a behind the scenes look as when a set comes out, and you're like, hey, how the heck, when you're a content creator group like this, where you're trying to preview stuff, like, what is the set like? How do you show it off? And Aaron goes on for about 15 minutes, like 14 and a half minutes, talking about his mentality of, like, how do we, like, get the coolest stuff out of the set while presenting, like, something that's entertaining, and kind of tie it all together, along with, like, kind of the retroactive, like, wow, I wish I kind of did this stuff a little bit different. So it's good insight to kind of see, like, where the headspace is at for the Spike Feeders. So go check out that video. I think it's just pretty informative. And then we got your video, which I also wanted to recommend this one, but
yeah, so I watched a Magic the Gathering content this weekend. I have forgotten the poster's handle, but the title is Examining Final Fantasy 15 through Magic the Gathering, and they spent about an hour taking a look at the card Noctis. I've forgotten his subtitle, but it's the Esper one from the main set, not the scene box card.
Mm-hmm. Not the much better one.
Anyway. Yeah, he just took a while exploring the the game 15 itself and how that, like, the story that Noctis experiences in that and how that meshes with the card mechanics, and then the process of building a deck and his journey with the deck and the play experience that it's providing. Just like all of that came together to really have me like, damn, that Noctis card is pretty cool. I should try that again.
Yeah, I had him on the considering table, like on my desk here. And I was thinking about putting it in Brea, and then I ended up not doing it. But he's still around, getting ready for the time that I want to bring back like equipment for a second go around or whatever. Yeah. The other thing too about the video, where it's like, hey, let's go over like some of the development history of like what the fuck was going on with Final Fantasy 15 and what a fucking crazy wild ride. I remember seeing Final Fantasy Versus 13 years ago as like the concept trailer before they started doing more and more stuff, and then they're like, actually it's 15 now and we're changing a bunch of stuff up and moving on, and I'm like, oh no, what could have been? Oh no. And so, you know, we're going to be perpetually thinking about like the things that could have been and all this other stuff. It would have tied into Final Fantasy 13 because the god of the dead, like the goddess of the dead in that world would have like tied into it somehow. And it was like, oh, cool. All right. But it didn't happen. And we got Final Fantasy 15, and that's a mixed bag all of its own. But overall it was one that I would like really enjoyed.
Yeah, Square Enix was reaching for some lofty goals with that and Versus 13 and Fabula Nova Crystallis. And just like, sometimes you gotta do less proper nouns.
Yeah. Still, go watch out that video, go check out the deck. It is really interesting to like have that kind of like dissonance thing, be like, all right, I'm having a mixed experience about this. Let's see how we can fix it, as well as like what the fuck is going on with the game, and it all kind of like ties together in one cohesive experience. All right.
It did make the Warp Strike look very cool. I want to play that game.
It is very cool. Quinn, I think it's time we open this door and we go back to a place we've long abandoned.
Yeah? Are we going back to the Smoking Mids dimension?
Oh, fuck yeah, we are!
Alright, well, I mean, you know what it is.
That's right, ears don't deceive you. Smoking Mids is rising from the keef in the grinder. Let's get back in the action with Cole, Quinn, and Lenny.
That's right, your ears do not deceive you. This is the return of the podcast in a podcast, Smoking Mids, but not with the Benoit, no. There's no other white boy Medusa could possibly mix up in this scenario. It's me, Cole, and I'm joined by Empress Quinn.
Hey.
And last but certainly not least, a new host, Lenny.
Word.
Hey, thanks
Do the kids still say word?
Yeah, so I say worm, honestly, but you know.
Yeah, I do also use the corruption of word worm.
Okay.
I will, you know, hey, other kids might point at me and be like, "Oh, you're turning 32, you're fucking ancient." And then all of our collective
your ass is
knees,
unk, my guy. You've got the grays already. You're done.
I've had grays for like a decade, Quinn. What do you want from me?
Well, then you've been unk for like a decade. Jot that the fuck down.
We're not supposed to be talking about my unk status. We're here to talk about the smoking mids that you could be playing in your games of Commander. And what better way to get it started with Lenny's recommendation of, let's take a look at Lorwyn Eclipse and talk about some maybe mids that we could be playing.
Yeah. So, there are just a lot of mids in this set. Like, between bangers and bangers that are mids, and shall I drop one of my recommendations right now?
That's the whole point of this whole thing.
Tell me about some mids.
All right. Well, I know, Quinn, you have been a victim of this one, and it's on Cole's short list as well, Pyrrhic Strike.
Oh, this shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
tragic. So good. Lay it on me. Lay it on me, Lenny.
Listen, I come from the days when Return to Dust was like the business in
I
Commander
still play
removal.
Return to Dust. I'm not too good to sleeve that up.
It's fine. It's fine. It's still good. But we got this new one. It's cheaper. It's 2 and a white. It's still an instant. As an additional cost, you can blight 2, choose 1. If the additional cost was paid, choose both instead. Destroy target artifact or enchantment, or you can destroy target creature with mana value 3 or greater. So getting both on that feels so good, and mana value 3 or greater is like practically everything.
Pretty much everything that's important.
Yeah, except for like Hermit Druid, but whatever. Who plays that anyway?
Criminals, that's who. You know who you are.
I don't play green, so... Yeah, Pyrrhic Strike, what a card. One that I have a bit of a high personal high assessment of, and one I've already slotted into a deck or two. Even getting one mode off, I think will be great. And I think most people will be like, but my 3 mana value removal slots are so competitive. And I think you can make a justification for a very modular catch-all kind of card. And Blight 2, that's nothing.
Yeah, like you don't have to give your opponents a 3/3 that's gonna beat you down. Like, you feel so clown shoes when you're like blowing up and generous gifting somebody's thing when your deck's trying to attack and you give them a blocker. Or like you do that to a Voltron deck and they suit up their token with like all the swords and kill you. That does not happen with Pyrrhic Strike.
This is true, and you are in white, so you've got the small bodies hanging around who've already done their job with their enter the battlefield ability. Your Dawnbreaker cleric or whatever that ETBs and blows up an enchantment, just like sack that guy basically. You're fine. You don't need him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Give us another one, Lenny. What do you got?
All right, I got Cole. You and I are like drifting together. We have reached the sync rate because I also want to talk about Spry and Mighty.
I don't play green cards, but if I were to...
As a Grothama all-devouring appreciator, this card is everything to me. 4 and a green for a sorcery. You choose 2 creatures you control, draw X cards, and the chosen creatures get +X, and trample until end of turn, where X is the difference between the chosen creature's powers. Listen, we are very Voltron-pilled here, so you're usually going to have your Voltron, you're going to have the thing that is between your opponent's Flesh Bag Marauder and your Voltron.
Real.
And you're going to draw a bunch of cards, and you're going to have 2 giant creatures. Me personally, I'm going to be taking this to Grothama. It's like 10 power. It's going to be great. I'm probably going to get like 9. I'm going to have a 19 trampling Grothama and just destroy people.
Hey, Galta
So,
players, I'm going to need you to calm the fuck down. I need you to chill the fuck out, please.
Oh yeah, they got Galta and their fucking Llanowar elf. Just
Just
all right, I've seen
absolute,
enough.
absolute annihilation, yeah.
Yeah,
This is...
also-
There are cards in green at 5 mana value that can draw you a bunch of cards, but when you can narrow the scope of how many you have to count on and drawn you a non-deterministic amount of cards that's basically not 1 or like 2, like, and a pump spell, most people would probably say this is loud pack, but again, we're talking about a 5 mana sorcery spell. This is not a combat trick. You're not doing this middle of combat. Like, this is... You're very publicly setting it up.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I haven't seen that one in play yet, but all of the text of it reads like it's going to do some major work here.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I've got more.
Yeah, keep going. Keep going.
Let's keep going. Let's keep doing this. Let's see. Speaking of another mid I want to talk about is some limited level removal in Blight Rot.
Yes, dude.
So, like, 2 and a black for an instant, you put 4 -1 counters on a creature. If you've ever been hit with the skin render where you've got your kind of big creature, but like they don't kill it, that's the worst. Like they can just leave your commander, your big thing, like not really doing a whole lot of stuff. It's not attacking because you don't want to lose it. It's or not blocking possibly, but yeah, it's just a good way to keep a creature down. So I think, don't sleep on that kind of stuff. Just try it out.
I also kind of dig the target creature gets -4/-4 type removal. Brea, Ethereum Shaper, is extremely fucking annoying for her. Your commander gets -4/-4 and dies ability. Cole?
Yeah, I would know nothing about this.
Blight Rod is going to hit pretty close to the same as that. I mean, obviously you can't stack the Blight Rods the way that you can Brea's activations because you only have one copy of that in your 100-card singleton deck, but you see the point here. -4/-4s can be quite impactful.
Yeah, indestructible creatures beware. We might not be able to kill you.
Fucking notice.
Yeah, the tech has gotten better. Again, we're talking about a 3-mana removal spell, but if you are wanting to, you can't get rid of something, but you can make it hurt in its own way, and getting 4 -1 counters on something can be absolutely ruinous, short of it just, completely disappearing.
Yeah. And I think actually if we want to talk about making it like 5 -1/-1 counters, we can go right into my next mid, which is the Nightmare Sower, 3 and a black for a 2/3 flying lifelink. Listen, it's not a bad blocker for a lot of stuff that shows up in the air, and it's also when you cast a spell during an opponent's turn, put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 target creature. So if you're one of those, like, wizards that loves to be holding up the pile of cards in your hand and just waiting to say in response...
Yeah, Quinn, imagine that.
I fucking cast spells at instant speed sometimes. Do not at me.
I'm kidding. Moving on though to what you greedy instant speed gamers could possibly do with this thing.
This is just like that enchantment from OG Lorwyn that's like Fairy Tauntings or something like that, where when you cast a spell during your opponent's turn, you get put a -1, not a -1/-1 counter, but target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. This is just like that for 2026.
Yeah. Plus, it's on a body that can wear. It could wear a sword. It could wear boots, whatever. Like,
God, flying lifelink. It's real good.
Yeah.
It's an assassin too. Like it has kind of all these little check marks that add up together in one neat little package.
If you're an Outlaws gamer and you also are playing at instant speed, maybe take a look at that. You could put that into play for 2 mana in Etsia, but that's an aggro deck, and this is a control card.
True. Much to think about.
Right, I got one more for you if you want it.
Oh, lay it on me, Lenny.
All right, let's talk about the Virulent Emissary. I think this is borderline loud pack because it's an elf, but 1 mana for a 1/1 death touch, and then they stapled Soul Sister onto it. What are they thinking?
I don't know, that's just power creep, my guy.
Yeah, I liked to pick this in draft. That felt like my first couple of turns. I'm going to take something impactful from you, and it's going to pad whatever damage I'm taking from the other body that you swung at me.
I think in terms of where we're at now in Magic, it's easy to kind of roll our eyes and be like, oh yeah, these cards are getting better for their rates. Like, wasn't there a green, tangent back to Tarkir Dragonstorm? Wasn't there a Reach Death Touch 1-drop in that set? Like, I can't remember what it was off the top of my head. The point being is that Virulent Emissary is definitely pulling a lot of weight. Again, Elf, Assassin, Death Touch, 1/1, Finn the Fangbearer decks are like, holy shit, I've been looking for this my entire life. But I think we do want, if we're going to be playing 1-drops in Commander that aren't mana dorks, we do want them to do a little bit more than just gaining life. So I think Virulent Emissary earns a spot even in non-elf decks. But if you do put it in an elf deck, I am looking at you judging.
Oh yeah, I'm windmill slamming this in the Abzan Soul Sisters and Dark Confidants deck.
Yeah, you need that life for sure.
You know,
I'm
it's
taking
best
extremely
compatible.
cavalier risks.
What's it compatible with, Lenny?
Oh, Bess. It is best compatible as a 1/1.
Oh God,
you're so
no!
right. Get in there.
Oh, best
yeah.
Soul Nourisher. Yeah, whenever one or more creatures you control with base power and toughness 1/1 enters the battlefield under any control, put a plus counter on Bess, and then when she attacks, each other creature you control with base power 1/1 gets +X until end of turn, where X the number of +1 counters on Bess. So yeah, shit, fuck, please leave me alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty good. That's a pretty good milestone to hey, Chad, get back to us when you take a look over this set and do your homework. But do you think this card is mid? Let us know. Let me go through a few cards and see what you all think.
Before you do.
Oh.
I forgot something.
What was there? Oh, there we go. Hey.
Hell yeah, dude.
At least one can crack has to occur, whether it's the podcast in a podcast or in the podcast itself. All right. Let me lay one on you that I put my eyes on it after full previews and everything came out. I am a big fan of Soulbright Flamekin from the original Lorwyn set, because if there's anything I love doing is paying mana to get more mana as if it was like a ritual. And they weirdly heard my prayers with Soulbright Seeker. This is a card that I think is weirdly even more mid than the loud pack that is Soulbright Flamekin. It's 1 red mana for a 2/1 elemental sorcerer. As additional costs to cast a spell, behold an elemental, or pay 2. Then it's red, target creature control gains trample until end of turn. If this is the 3rd time this ability is resolved this turn, add 4 red. Sometimes I'm a greedy gamer in mono red decks, and sometimes I want to change my mana into at least 1 mana higher than where I started. And Soulbright Seeker kind of goes along with Soulbright Flamekin in sort of this weird, like, mana generating bundle. That's kind of cute and also kind of a way to give your stuff trample if you need it in a pinch beyond just the mana generating part.
I mean, I'm into it. I love giving stuff trample. Also, I'm kind of wondering if this sort of thing has a home in, like, commanders that copy abilities, like that Agris Koss or, like, Eartha Joe, where you can just, like, really just bump up how much you're actually netting here.
True, because it only cares if it's the 3rd time it's activated, and you, pay 2, get 4 instead.
No, it has resolved.
I don't think you can copy the add mana ability, because it's checking the number of resolutions of that ability. And so once you do the 3rd one, you add red, and then you go and resolve the 4th one, and the thing is like, okay, well, this isn't the 3rd time that you've resolved this.
I mean, the way I'm looking at it is if you're not paying mana for the activation and you do it the 2nd and 3rd and 4th time, like, the only one that matters is you activated it, quote unquote, twice to get 4 mana is the way I'm looking at it. I don't know. Tricky tech. I appreciate
not a judge.
No,
I'll leave that one to
this
Laura.
guy's to just like shadow clones or something.
There's some potential here. I don't know. I like this card. I got it kind of ready to get slotted up in my Captain Ripley Vance deck just to get some extra mana generation and the lower curve. And even if you do cast 3 mana for this thing, I think eventually the surplus mana will win out. Let me hit you with another one. I feel like I'm crazy, but hear me out. I think Twin Flame Travelers is mid only because it works with elementals.
I think that elementals are too good for an elemental Harmonicon to be particularly mid. I'm trying to bolt these guys on site,
Okay, let me take that one back. All right, not mid confirmed. Let's go take it back and give you another one. I think the incarnation cycles are pretty mid, and I think nothing best exemplifies this than Catharsis.
I think that's the only one that's mid. The rest of the cycle is 60 card competitive viable.
Yeah,
Well,
those price tags definitely say that.
All right. So let me talk about Catharsis then.
Sounds good. That one's definitely hitting the bulk boxes. You are probably the other guys are bells.
Dang, unfortunate. So Catharsis is 4 and double hybrid Boros for a 3/4 elemental incarnation. When it enters, if double white was paid to cast it, create 2 1/1 green and white Kithkin creature tokens. And if double red was used to cast it, creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain haste until end of turn. It also has the evoke for double hybrid Boros. I think any one of these modes for the evoke rate is absolutely fine. If you're able to have Catharsis come out for the full 6 mana and you're doing it for the double red mode to give your team +1/+1 in haste, I think that could be a neat way to kind of have like a miniature overrun / like Anthem effect where you're able to throw Catharsis into the mix as well. If you have keywords matter stuff a la Audric Lunarch Marshal, this would probably be a good way to give your army that collective haste to get everything kickstarted. I don't know, or I don't know, maybe that's a little redundant, excuse me, but like, I don't know, like, even if you're looking to also have like a death trigger via the evoke thing to make token bodies or whatever, I think Catharsis could probably fit a few niches at an affordable rate for a pretty decently sized body. If you're looking for something that's a little subtle, the obvious unfortunate thing is that you reanimate it and then you have a 3/4 body, which isn't very exciting.
Yeah, I think the move with a lot of these, but this one in particular, is just like do the scam thing or the ephemerate thing, something like at instant speed that lets you cheat the trigger, so you're only spending the little amount of mana rather than like hard casting it. I have played this, and hard casting it was like, in that particular instance at least, was like, I don't know if I wanted the Kithkins that this came with. If I'm at this point in the game, I think I'm just looking for that +1/+1 in haste.
Yeah, I hear you.
But if you can
Lenny,
cheat that and get the body and then give the whole team the haste, then fucking go for it.
Yeah, beep beep. Lenny, what do you think about this card?
I think it really shows just like how loud Twin Flame Travelers is, because that actually would make this pretty decent if what was happened twice.
Damn.
You
Twin
can't
Flame
be saying
Travelers.
Harmonicons are mid, bro.
Fine, all right. I'll have to reviews all of them. Damn it, they're all so fucking loud. This sucks. The whole point of the podcast. Yeah. So I want to believe in Catharsis, but maybe you don't, and I'll be the champion.
No, I like it. I'm gonna sleeve it up. Like, it's a fucking snail that grants haste. That's funny.
That is actually incredibly funny. There is some irony in this too.
But
Let's
if I'm trying
move
to
on.
be a sweat lord about it, like, there's better options.
Yeah, fair enough. But we're not here to do that. We're here to smoke some mids, and let's talk
Yeah,
about
exactly.
a card. Let's talk about a card that maybe I'm also too crazy and not realizing its potential. But let's talk about Lasting Tarfire.
No, I think this is mid.
Yeah. So one in a red for the
Oh,
champion
yeah.
that says at the beginning of each end step, if you put a counter on a creature this turn, this enchantment deals 2 damage to each opponent.
Hey, y'all remember Burning Vengeance?
Yeah, that card is fucking awesome.
Pepperidge Farm remembers. I remember killing Quinn with Burning
Yeah,
Vengeance.
dude, it was sick. But this is gonna have the same type of feeling. I really am just like 2 damage to each opponent unless you're doing some heavy damage multiplication. It's like you're not spending the slot on this in most EDH decks.
I don't know. I'm a believer. I think that with as many instant speed methods as we have, at a low mana value that we can put +1 counters on our creatures at a whim, whether in play or from our hands, I think this could rack up damage very quickly in a way that your opponents will find either mildly annoying to alarm bells are going off in their heads.
I play that Oath of Chandra enchantment in the Chandra Tybal deck, and 2 damage on end step in that deck, even with my access to damage modifiers, is like, I am only playing this card because it says Chandra on it, and if we had other options, we would probably use them.
Lenny, what do you think?
I mean, I guess Marath, but Marath also has, like, better things to be doing. But, you know, it's there if you want your casual Marath, and it is each end step. It's certified mid. I don't think I have a deck for it, but, you know, I might put it somewhere if I could guarantee, like, hitting that each end step business.
I don't know.
You can
All I think I'm
definitely
hearing...
put that in a deck to flex on people. That would be very funny.
All I'm hearing are a bunch of haters in this call right now.
I'm not a hater. I just recognize that it's very much a style point skill card.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll be the one to live the dream, I'm sure of it.
I want you to live the dream.
I will figure it out. I'll figure it out.
You deserve this.
I do.
Like, yeah, this is self-care.
This is self-care. By burning people out, by putting counters on my stuff every turn, including yours. Alrighty, let's talk about one last card from me, and then we'll turn the mic over to Empress Quinn. This is one that I'm not entirely sure what to think about it, and I think there's probably maybe some niche application. End Blaze Epiphany.
Yeah.
This is X in red for an instant that says End Blaze Epiphany deals X damage to target creature. When that creature dies this turn, exile a number of cards from the top of your library equal to its power, then choose a card to exile this way. Until the end of your next turn, you may play that card. So we are stapling a form of card advantage to a type of removal spell that could get maybe something super small. You go for the overkill damage, whatever it happens to be. I don't know. Take your pick. There's some decks that could probably that would love to twin this. Or get some extra value out of it that way.
Oh,
but
yeah,
in terms
windmill slam this in Azula. I can't wait to blow up your techie value creature and style on you by also drawing cards.
It's crazy.
Well, drawing cards singular, but the selection is pretty deep, so I'm just like, fuck yeah, I'm taking all of that advantage, and it's in, like, sure, maybe I have other options in Azula, but if you're playing this in mono red, like in the Queen Brana deck that I have, then I'll take whatever I can get.
Yep. In terms of just modularity and taking what you can, baseline, yeah, this is pretty good. You're able to style on people by copying it or whatever. I think you can really get bang for your buck out of it. The only thing that maybe deters people from it is exiling your cards and then like not getting it back. This doesn't take that chunk of cards back to the bottom of your library. Those are gone for good. So
I'm just like, whatever, baby. That's red.
Yeah, I trust your deck that you're gonna have good stuff in it, even if you like put a bunch of good stuff on the bottom.
Yeah, actually, if you have issues with that kind of thing, I need you to practice by playing that demonic tutor that has you exile the top 13 cards of your library. That's not a real cost.
Yeah, fair enough. Lenny, what do you see this being used in? What would you do with it?
I'd be interested in using this in like kind of a black-red Rakdos sacrifice big situation. Like just hit my own for like 0 damage and then go find like the next
Hold on, we might have found the tech. This might be this. Lenny, you have opened my eyes, and that's why you're the man in the chair now.
Yeah, or like someone's gonna be like a board wipe. You're like, okay, yeah, I'll cash it in for like, you know, the best card of the next like biggest power I got.
That's why we pay you the big bucks, Lenny.
All right, I'll be looking on my bank account.
Shit. Oh, damn it. All right. Quinn, help us distract our other fellow hosts by telling us of a certified mid that you love from this set.
Oh man, dude, this card is so bad and I cannot wait to sleeve it up. Morn Song Aria.
Okay. Well, don't say this because I think I know of a few certified sickos, the Benoit, who would love to play this card and bring it out via an enchanter. Tell us about it.
You do just have to be a bit of a sicko to make that your game plan, because it is the kind of card that sets you up to get absolutely fucking blown out. And you just have to accept that if people are not interested in playing ball, they will do that to you. And that is the cost of sometimes having a really fun game where you get to show everybody the cool pictures that you put in your deck.
What does Mornsong Aria do specifically?
It is a legendary enchantment for 1 black, and it says players can't draw cards or gain life. And at the beginning of each player's draw step, that player loses 3 life, searches their library for a card, puts it into their hand, then shuffles. This is so fucking funny to me, and I just know I'm gonna cast this, and then somebody's gonna tutor for disenchant when they get the opportunity.
As they probably should, because this card, very much like people who want to abuse Marilyn of the Mornsong, you better know what you're fucking doing, because otherwise everyone is going to find the exact thing that they need to not only get rid of this, but also probably to fuck up the rest of your day.
I think maybe if you hang out with people that smoke mids, you can be like, if I put this Mornsong Aria on stack, are we all going to be cool? Can we be normal about that? We maybe play the mini game for a bit. And if not, then you just don't fucking bother.
We are all commonly in the company through the digital space with Brandon of MTG Lexicon. And we cannot take anything that man says at face value, especially when he says, yeah, we're big chillin' here, right? And the answer is no, the fuck we're not. We cannot trust that man with this card.
I think I have to try.
Oh, you're killing me here.
I'm a little bit the worst.
Okay, well, thank you for admitting that. Lenny,
I'm just too much of a coward. I'm too much of a coward.
Are you
this.
A fucking coward?
I am a coward. Look, I am uncomfortable when my opponents are tutoring for basic land, and this is going to set my blood pressure right through the roof.
Wow. This.
I mean, like, my doctor would be emailing me, like, frantically, as soon as he sees that card played.
Damn, this Smoking Mids episode will be freaking tying into this the podcast, the other podcast part of this podcast perfectly. My God.
Right.
Yeah.
But I do have some tech for you, because I was just thinking, it is sort of low-key 3 mana.
Right.
So this is compatible with Zur the Enchanter. You could do that and tutor that out with Zur the Enchanter, and then do... I don't know what else. Like,
do Zur the Enchanter things. Not much more needs to be said.
Yeah. I mean, go find that Oppo agent, I guess, but that's not what we want to do.
That's not what we're doing. That's not playing the mini game.
Yeah. Look, I just know this was a card that Benoit said, hold on here, my Zur the Enchanter senses are tingling, and then you showed this card. We're like, you would do that, wouldn't you? My God.
Yeah, and it'd be sick as fuck.
We are on that wavelength.
Yeah. Real sickos in this episode. I don't know if I'm disappointed or not.
I would play the minigame, but it would not be fun for other people.
All right, we got one person on board.
Oh, I'm not playing this. I'm fucking blowing this thing up ASAP. What are you talking about?
Oh, fucking course. All right, well,
okay. Let me reiterate. From Quinn, I would play the minigame. Anybody else, I'm getting that disenchant, or like if I have like a worse fears steal your turn business, we're getting that.
Oh, that's so funny.
That's so good. All right, Quinn. I think we are running out of time, but
yeah, that was it for me. Just Mornsong Aria.
Okay, wow.
I knew that was going to cause a lot of discussion, so I was just like, we're just going to leave it there.
Let me just plant the bomb in your brains and then let it explode and let you take over. My God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this is why they pay you the big bucks. All right. Well, how is that for the return of Smoking Mids? You know what? We'll find out next time when we return to the Smoking Mids dimension. And Lenny, obviously, hey, welcome and thank you for joining us for this. let me set the tone. Lenny is going to be the main host for this bit because I trust this man with many things, including my life, but especially the podcast and a podcast. And what we're going to be doing is Lenny will be here as the main linchpin, and then Quinn and I will rotate in and out as needed for future episodes where we're to come in and talk about mids.
Sweet.
All right, looking forward to it.
All right. And let's get the heck out of this smoky room. And any last parting words to our listeners?
Lenny, if you've got the wisdom for them, I think it's your turn for that.
Yeah, what's wisdom you can impart upon our listeners?
Life sucks and we should just be nicer to each other.
God, that's so real, dude. Absolutely.
Yeah, be nice to yourselves, but more than anything, be nice to yourselves and to each other. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
We'll catch you on the next episode.
Later, gamers.
Fuck. God damn it. God, it's like being back at my parents' place. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Hey, Smoking Mids is fucking back. Thanks, Lenny, for coming along for the ride for this. And we'll see how much this artificially inflates the episode.
We're gonna keep it under control. I promise.
I fingers crossed. I promise absolutely nothing. But we will see as we continue the podcast and a podcast again from the ashes. Let's talk about Brews Off the Shelf, huh?
Yeah, sounds good.
Do you want to start off? I mean, you know what? Hold on. I got a whole thing after this. So let me start off.
All right.
So last time I mentioned that I put together this Ashling Rekindled / Ashling Rhymebound deck. I'd take it apart, give or take 10 to 13 decks, or at least like whatever the vestiges of like old decks were. I was like, I need to get this cleared out. I need to put these sleeves away. And then I looked at the desk and I saw Clive and I saw Jill, and I was like, fuck, I gotta live my Final Fantasy 16 fanfiction dreams. So now we have the quote unquote lovers of Ice and Flame.
Oh yeah, keep shipping those hats.
If there's one thing I'm good at. So now I actually have games under my belt from the last time, so I can give a little bit more of an accurate breakdown of what's going on top of like, I had to tweak it a few times from like when the deck initially came out. Like I started playing it back at the end of July, and since then I've gotten 4, 5. I played it 8 times so far, and I've made what felt like necessary revisions since then. I'm pretty sure, because I don't keep track of it, I'm pretty sure it hasn't won a game yet, but I think I am heading in the right direction. So let's preface this. It's kind of a control deck. No surprise there. It's me.
Yeah, it's you, and you have blue.
And I have blue, so I gotta do the thing. It's Final Fantasy Summons Round 2, except taking out the white and putting in the blue and seeing what we can do with that. There's less chances of like white being the reanimated color and bringing them back. So I'm going to be using a bit of a flicker sub-theme to keep the summons around after using Ashling to like accelerate into the more expensive ones, because fucking this card is fucking ridiculous. And I'm having my brain open by playing against Benji, where he paid mana to flip back over to Rekindle to do the discard and draw. And I'm like, wait a minute, you can just fucking do that? I thought you just keep it on the Rhymebound side.
No, dude, you want to flip her every turn if you can.
Yeah. So the total summons that I got here, I'm just gonna go through the list. I count Clive and Jill because eventually you can flip them over, even though you can't use Ashling's mana to pay for them.
Yeah, those are summons to me. It's fine.
Yeah, that works out. I got Summon Brynhilder, Esper Valagarmanda, Guardian Force Cerberus, Guardian Force Ifrit, Summon Kujata, Leviathan, Shiva, and Valfor. So I put in approximately about as how much that I thought that I could get away with. And of that group, you can't, Guardian Force Ifrit, Jill, they can't, and Brynhilder can't be summoned off of the mana, which is fine. But getting into like Summon Leviathan or a Kujata pretty early will feel pretty good.
You're not supposed to have a Kujata on turn 4.
No, but it has happened, and it is spooky, and it is great. I added Frost and Inferno Titan because, like, again,
you are who you are.
I am who I am. I am a Titan lover. I do love my Frost and Inferno Titans, and of course, we're tying into the Ice and Fire theme. I put in Anger and Wonder because you can discard them off of Ashling's ETB and Transform ability. And then in terms of ways of just like helping kind of close out the game in some way, shape, or form in their own respective ways, I got Sahur Nemesis, Donna Noble, and Fiendish Duo as a ways of like deterrence, as well as just like, hey, fuck this person in particular, or fuck all of y'all. Sahur Nemesis has been showing up pretty often. I'm like, oh, this is pretty fucking great. Hey, you're taking double damage, and everyone that deals damage to you is dealing double that. I tried to copy Sahur Nemesis to go for the win with my Machine God's Effigy, which has been coming in super clutch in this deck. Unfortunately, it got countered, so it didn't really work out. But at the time, I was like looking at my hand, and I was looking at the battlefield, and I was looking who was surviving. And I looked back at my hand, and I looked at Sahur Nemesis, and then I looked at the thing, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that just quadruples the damage on one person. That's fucking awesome. So, looking forward to do that. In terms of like what rounds out the deck, I finally got a copy of Fury, and I'm like, hey, this is going to be a place to put like an elemental in the deck that does that thing. Ultimecia was one that's been on the table for a while, so I've been wanting to get her out and kind of tie into the Final Fantasy theme.
I've been wanting to play this 6-mana mono blue Ultimecia. I think she's very cool.
Yep. I mean, tap everything down. Again, I am who I am. That's what I want to do. But it also kind of ties into a few other features of the deck. Twin Flame Travelers was one where I was like, I wasn't entirely sure if I wanted to add it to the deck. But as it turns out, I do have like a non-zero amount of elementals. Summon Shiva as an elemental.
I think the Twin Flame Travelers are enough because they turn Ashling from make 2 mana into make 4 mana.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, that by alone, and
like,
their flyers.
Just that is enough.
But it also happens to tie into like a handful of other things. It's great. I've been looking for a place for Grazilax, being like, if this is going to be a place for me to like bounce my summons back to hand, then maybe have like excess mana to bring them back out later or whatever. Like have recurring game actions, and resetting summons where possible.
Yeah, Grazi's very cool. I think that and plus the just like, I'm hitting you and I'm drawing cards has never been bad.
No. I got a few things in the mail. I think I'm gonna try out the Water Crystal, even though it's kind of like a mill sub-theme. And maybe just for the cost reduction, but also I get to own one, so whatever. But I'm also getting Nibelheim of Flame just for more like board wipes things. And the thing that really kind of was like, hey, wait a minute, this is actually freaking insane, is that alternative casting costs that are tied to 4+ mana spells, Ashling's mana doesn't differentiate if it's an alternate casting cost or not. So I was thinking of flashing back Nibelheim of Flame to get like the draw and discard thing. So, yeah, I got some ideas about where I want to take this deck. It is kind of the new hotness, and it was made out from a bunch of the decks that I took apart. So again, we are still sub 30 decks, so we are in a more controlled environment. But making cuts in this thing has been super duper hard, even with the last few games that I've had. Hoping to see something like find a way for Volcanic Vision to like come and be clutch, or run away together, or finally be able to cast Icy Blast. That would be one thing that would make me feel real good about all that.
I really like Volcanic Vision. I think that like Wrath, you're bored and I'm picking up my dig through time is a fucking beating.
Yep. There's potential here with the tech. And then just to throw it out there, because it's been on the brain and I've been thinking about it, because I've been wanting to find ways to like use Dane Tantalus Thief. The blight mechanic was my way of being like, wait a minute, if I steal something, use it, and then give it back, why don't I just put -1/-1 counters on it? So I very quickly put together a hypothetical deck with Zidane Tantalus Thief as the commander, with a bunch of modified matters / use blight as a way to like leverage what you're taking, rather than outright stealing them, using them, and then sacking them for whatever and not getting the treasure payoff. So that's out there. Go check the link. I tried consulting some people to see what they thought, and you recoiled in horror. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute, this is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. I just back at it again with your Steely Boy nonsense.
It's very fun. I don't know what to tell you.
In my defense, Your Honor, I had a great time.
Your Honor, League of Legends, clack, death. Okay. All right. You got a couple decks to talk about.
All right. So here is my Erdu Carrier of Dawn, Asilu Carrier of Twilight deck. Again, we had the Aristocrats build that was like, okay, yeah, that works, but it's also exactly what you expect from this deck. I would like to try something else. And then we tried some other builds and just kept winning games off the back of Erdu and Asilu being a 5/5 with flying and lifelink, and none of the rest of the deck mattered.
Yeah.
So we wanted to use the deck, or to use the card in the command zone, and also like have a cohesive theme that works in the 99, and just like, I want the whole thing to mesh. I don't want Erdu and Asilu just being cool in the command zone and aura farming and out just mogging the rest of the guys that I've carefully selected.
Like, get the fuck out of the way. I'm the star of the show.
I want you all to work together. So the thing that I threw in the chat was, hey, how is other people thinking about this? And we came to the conclusion that maybe this was the guy for like go wide type aggro, and you just like support the team like that. So I scroll through my MTGO library looking for inspirational creature types that have a sufficient quantity of impactful creatures, by what I mean rares and mythics, and won't make me eye roll when I put it together. So some things that met that requirement but failed on the eye roll test was zombies and vampires.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
Yeah, we were doing this in reverse alphabetical order too, because I'm normal. And so next we came to soldiers, which had enough creatures for that and didn't make me yawn. So we put the deck list together, and unfortunately that one did not feel good to play. I don't know if I'm just like, I don't have all of the right soldiers, or if I'm just not drift compatible with that game plan, but it didn't work out. Okay. So we continued scrolling and landed on Phyrexians.
Okay, yeah.
And so we put a bunch of Phyrexians in a pile. They have a lot of those in the bundle that you can get for like $39.99 or whatever, the big commander bundle. Just a metric fuck ton of Phyrexians. Did not expect the quantity of Phyrexians that I have.
Okay, well then you're off to a good start.
Yeah, exactly. So we move to the deck construction phase, filter for like using Scrifall syntax, T:(Phyrexian to say type Phyrexian, or O:(Phyrexian, so that it would search the oracle text for the word Phyrexian to catch like anthems and things like that. And that returned a bunch of cool cards that we wanted to play, so we've got a bunch of those in the 99 here. Ellis Ilkor, the Soul Sister, Vron, the Blood Artist, but like once per turn, the Massacre Worm. It's just fucking Massacre Worm.
Yeah, it's just, it does the job.
Those are all for like aristocrats cards, because that's what a lot of Phyrexians want to do. Apparently you can fully escape playing aristocrats with their due in Asilu. But we also have cards that say incubate in the forms of like Essence of Orthodoxy, Phyrexian Awakening, and Sculpted Perfection. The last two there are, I think, enchantments that I don't remember what type Phyrexian Awakening is. I didn't put the deck list in there.
Yeah, I think looking at it would probably help. Because I'm looking at these cards and I'm like, okay, so like, I know Vran, I know Illis Elkor, I know Massacre Worm. What the fuck are these three? What is this?
There we go. There's the deck list link for you.
Okay, let's take a look here. Yep. Okay. Yep. We got our reference here.
Okay. So, Phyrexian Awakening. I don't remember if that was enchantment. Yeah, it is an enchantment. Okay, I was right. Goodness. Yeah, they're enchantments that enter the battlefield and they incubate and then they do something beneficial for Phyrexians. The Awakening gives them Vigilance, and Sculpted Perfection is a +1/+1, so like Glorious Anthem for Phyrexians. And we also played cards that say Might. So White Sun's Twilight, that Wrath that also prints out Mights if you go big enough. Might Overseer's a Might Lord. Charge of the Mights makes Mights. We really wish we had Skrelv and Skrelv's Hive, but those did not come in the library, and I would have to acquire that single if we were interested in putting that in the deck.
And I was going to say...
It would be a good addition, though. They should be here.
And like, I don't know, they're probably not that many ticks, right?
Yeah, I think they're like literal pennies, probably.
Oh, okay.
Obligatory typal deck conclusions. So we got buffs. We got Elish Norn's Revisionist History Lesson, or Chronicle Victory.
Wait, hold on a second. Hold on. Scroll. What is this? The other side of Elish Norn?
No, that's that 6 mana legendary artifact from ECL that depicts the
Chronicle of
plane
Victory.
triumphing over the Phyrexians. This is a huge fucking flavor fail, which is why it's Elish Norn's Revisionist History Lesson and why that's so fucking funny to me to cast this naming Phyrexians.
Yeah, it's like, all right, you know what? History belongs to the victors. Damn fucking right. Get me on that shit.
We've also got the classic Vanquisher's Banner, and then we've got Banner of Kinship. And I chose Metallic Mimic. Usually I don't like changelings, but Phyrexians have this relationship with +1/+1 counters and proliferate technology. And we can use that to our advantage with the Metallic Mimic, making everybody enter with a +1/+1 counter already. And then in the Kindred Wraths department, we've got Kindred Dominance for the catch everything that's not a Phyrexian, and then Crippling Fear for the -3/-3 to everything that's not a Phyrexian.
And happens to get some sweepers, yeah.
Yeah, I have in the past cast Crippling Fear naming Brushwags because somebody made sure that my board was empty, and I was like, fuck it, I don't care then. Everything dies.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
And then in the OK Pal section, we've got Massacre Worm, OG Mommy Norn, OG Shelly Bean, Breach the Multiverse, Skithrix the Blight Dragon, Saga Shelly, and Saga Mommy Norn. Just all of the fucking, these say T:(Phyrexian, and you definitely roll your eyes a little bit when they show up.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I'll be talking about some of this later, but yeah, it's like they have done the work, they will continue to do the work, and as per the theme and goal of this deck, they're going to be doing the thing that they were designed to do, so here you go. Yeah.
It is just, okay, pal. So gameplay experience. Hey, go wide mid-range typal might just be the perfect archetype for Erdu and Nasilu in the command zone. They give you the ramp from Convoke that makes it easy to go wide, and you have the additional time on board via Persist, which gives you little resiliency to board wipes. And all of that just lets you like push your go wide typal aggro strategy further. I had a game where we basically curved out into Gix and 3 other Phyrexians, one of which was a Lord, and we just turned sideways all out every turn and kept a full hand with Gix, and then on turn 6 cast a Kindred Dominance. One player scoops because they've seen enough, then we connect for damage on other people, draw more cards, pass the turn, and then opponent on Illuna lands a threat, and our other opponent on Vren removal typal, which I think is redundant because they're all removal typal, casts a Season of Loss to basically route the board, like choose each player sacrifices all of your creatures. Illuna scoops to that because they just landed a threat and now they're seeing another board wipe. Fuck this. As for me, though, I cast Breach the Multiverse, I grab Vren's Lord Skitter, which is the only option even after milling 10 cards, which fucking confirms you were a removal typal deck, bitch. And then my OG Shelly Bean. They have removal for Shelly Bean, but Lord Skitter sticks and makes a rat on every one of my combats. And then we get back to me. I land Skithrix, we swing out with Lord Skitter and the rats, and we pass, and we make sure to leave up the mana to regenerate Skittles, because we know Vren is removal typal.
Yep.
They don't impact the board on their turn, though, and they pass back. And then we swing out, we resolve a Banner of Kinship, pass the turn, we leave up the mana to regenerate Skithrix. And the game is so fucking over if they don't have literally Exile Wrath, and they don't. So it's GG's from there.
Nice.
We had another game where an opponent on the pre-con Zergo playing Crash Out Aristocrats finds a Divine Visitation, which turns all of their guys into angels.
Very good.
Then they
Love
cast
that card.
Attempt with Vengeance.
Oh. Yep.
Yeah, so we have one other opponent, because this ended up being a 3-player game because one of the other people scooped earlier. So our other opponent takes the tempt and makes 5 elementals, and
why?
Great fucking question, my dude.
Oh no.
Zergo makes 5 more angels off of that. I do not take the deal, of course, but I put 15 Suture Priest triggers on the stack and I burn them down significantly. I gotta find a fucking way to close, though, or we just die to angels. So we cast our stupid fucking chair, Roaming Throne, and then we cast Massacre Worm, and we give the board -4/-4 total, and when our opponents have their creatures die, they lose 2 twice for a total of 4, and everybody's life totals just fucking melt under the withering gaze of my Massacre Worm. Incredible.
Jeez. Oh my god. I mean, good thing that you managed to have checks notes, 10 mana to pull this off.
Yeah, we were fucking grinding it out to the late game. That's
jeez.
It'd be like that.
But also, hey, random player that took the deal, what the fuck are you doing?
Great question.
Hey, I would like to point at the screen, evidence number 1, fucking Divine Visitation. Did you read that? Did you fucking read that? That deal you're making?
Not.
Real fucking bad.
Ugh. Alright, so the last gameplay experience here. I had a turn 0 Chancellor of the Annex that felt fucking credible. I love to reveal that and be like, alright, we're going to tax all those soul rings and all of that. And we actually interrupted some people's turn 1 plays. It was very satisfying.
They're like, I can't believe you've done this to me.
Yeah, the Island Ponder keep hand that you thought was safe. I don't think so.
Yeah, they're like, huh. I've made a mistake.
And then late game, we cast her, like, from my hand, so she's actually on the battlefield. And we, of course, have our stupid fucking chair out and mandated the payment of an additional 2 mana to every one of my opponent's spells, which is extremely rude and satisfying. But it wasn't enough to stop us from getting run the fuck over by a Mossborn troll wearing Cauldron Complete. So, huge salutes.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
But Orzhov Phyrexians has the sauce, I think. We are playing some satisfying gameplay experiences as long as we have the time to develop. And Chancellor can help us get that, and the interaction package that we have can help us get that. Feeling pretty good about the deck.
Yeah, I'm glad that you were able to find a weirdly synergistic typal theme that managed to bring the whole thing together. And also kind of ties back into Kristen's unconventional commander article, despite the fact that, like, Erdu and Isilu are kind of fucking nuts all their own.
They are kind of fucking nuts on their own. They do, as previously mentioned, just win the game by being a 5-mana 5/5 with flying and lifelink. I had one game where the rest of the deck did not fucking matter, but I had Erdu and Isilu, and I had a Gideon that gave a creature indestructible until my next turn, and you just don't lose that game.
Yeah, it's, yeah. I was happy to see, obviously, Terra Tawashi showing up, which I thought was super cool.
Yes, I always
Defiler
forget
of Flesh.
that that's a Phyrexian.
Yeah, it also makes other creatures Phyrexians when you reanimate them. But again, Defiler of Flesh, because I remember when the cycle came out and everyone's like, oh, Defiler of Vigor or whatever the fuck the green one was, where it's like, right, this is the only
busted.
Oh, this is the only one worth the conversation and nothing else matters. And meanwhile, I'm looking over at Defiler of Flesh. I'm like, hold on. Menace and +1/+1 until end of turn. We can do something with this. What are the chances of you getting the white one for this deck, depending on how long you fiddle around with it?
They, I guess, did not put that in the library, so we'd have to see how much that single is, because if it's above a certain threshold, getting that JPEG just doesn't, like, feel good.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I have to pay 5 cents for this instead of 1 cent? Ain't worth my time.
Sometimes, yeah, genuinely. So yeah, it depends on what the like price on that is, but if it's acceptable, then perhaps we can get that single along with Skrelv and the Skrelv's Hive, because there's a couple of cards in here that are bad.
No, yeah, obviously, like you're having to try, like, I'm pretty sure if there were any other combinations of like Phyrexian colors involved in here, you could probably like round it out. But I'm looking at, like, obviously Searcher Priest is pulling its weight and then some. Vran and Terra Tawashi and Massacre Worm and all the other stuff, but I'm like, the Defiler cycle, I think, when you are playing stuff like Elish Norn and Chancellor of the Annex, like, having to pay for that extra pip with life, like, could probably go a long way.
Yeah, I think that that's probably a pretty safe bet. We've got enough white spells in here that it seems worthwhile. And just having a Phyrexian that does something as opposed to some of these that are basically vanilla.
Yeah. Well, I'm interested to see if, you know, for, again, as long as you're going to be dabbling with this card on MTG, or the deck, excuse me, on MTG, I'm interested to see where you can take it.
We might tuck in like a Virtue of Loyalty, because again, the +1/+1 counters and proliferate relationship, and just like it's basically vigilance.
Yeah,
and that's pretty effective. So yeah, much to think about. Orzhov Phyrexians under this archetype seems pretty good though. That's doable.
Cool, nice, awesome.
Another deck?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Like we talked about a couple weeks back, we opened the Sig Wanderwine Wisdom and Sig Wonderbrine Shield after being very impressed with the way that he performed on the other side of the battlefield against us in draft. So it was my turn, and we've got a guy that says he can't be blocked on both of his sides, and TBH, you can stop reading there. But the rest of the card is also pretty sweet. Whenever he transforms or enters on the blue side here, Sig Wonder One Wisdom, target creature gets whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, draw a card until end of turn. And at the beginning of your first phase, you can pay white if you do transform him, and he transforms into Sig Wanderbrine Shield, who, like we said, also can't be blocked. And whenever this creature transforms into this Sig, target creature you control gains protection from each color until your next turn. And at the beginning of the first main, you can pay a blue to flip him back. So basically, you can put knives on a lot of guys like this, and a lot of knives on one guy. Also, you've got options. The protection from all colors is basically hexproof. It also is unblockable, and that's pretty worthwhile if you've got the knives that want to see the combat damage triggers.
The trigger, yeah.
Yeah, scroll down to the deck construction section here. What do I got? Knives. A lot of Mirren swords. I am on almost every Mirren sword in my collection, I think. Sword of Body and Mind, Feast and Famine, Fire and Ice, Hearth and Home, Light and Shadow, Sinew and Steel, War and Peace, Wealth and Power. And the Buster Sword.
Yo, to the shock of absolutely no one.
Yeah, you know we got that thing on us.
Can't leave home without it.
We also have Excalibur, Sword of Eden, and Sword of the Animist in the usual, like, Stoneblade and Number Go Up technology package here. Then a later edition was Mjolnir, Stormhammer, because this one, it just fucking feels good to tap a guy out of the way and then kaboom.
Yeah, hey, you are in those colors for Great Sword of Tyr.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but then I have to tell one of these knives that I'm cutting them for the Great Sword of Tyr, and I'm not
cut
sure.
Soul Talisman.
Oh, yeah, actually, I could do that.
You're like, wait a minute. If you're playing Hearth and Home and you're playing Sword of the Animist and you have ways to tutor them out, I'm pretty sure it would be okay if you take out Soul Talisman for just a way to grant a little bit more evasion to your attacks.
Yeah, we can probably cut that. That seems fine. So the deck is basically knives, card advantage, and interaction, and like there's no frills or anything besides that. So in the card advantage section, you already know what the fuck it is. I got my look inputs. I got my dig through time, my impulse, my stock up, my drawn from dreams. And then in the more traditional drawn section, we've got Voyage Home, which has affinity for artifacts. And we've got Sig's Command, which does merfolk stuff in addition to drawing cards, and Cerebral Download, which surveils for the artifacts and then draws cards. And then the Legend of Karuk is a 4-mana saga that on 2 chapters scries 2 and draws a card, and then flips into a guy that prints out guys, and then there's some other text that doesn't matter because my opponents can read.
Yep. I imagine they kill this guy quite readily from what I'm guessing.
For sure, Zeus. I've never once gotten that to happen, and I've never had the board state to do that either, so it's just like I draw 2 cards, and then somebody discards a removal spell, and we move on.
Fantastic.
And then in the other rest of the traditional card draws, or not traditional, but like in the card draw section, Du Bois. We got Fairy Mastermind, we got the 2-mana value Wan Shi Tong, we got Enduring Curiosity, we got the Unagi of Kyoshi Island, and we got the Stoneblade package. All of that card advantage for me. I'm on fucking Cloud, I'm on Stoneforge Mystic, and I got Serena Bargain Spinner for this one. The 4-mana Stoneforge from the Spider-Man set. Yeah, my card advantage package is fucking stacked. I'm like regularly got a full grip and deciding what I'm gonna do every turn from quite a few options. The interaction package is also pretty fucking thick. We just went with stuff that caught my eye, focused on stuff that said exile where it was available, because when I want a thing gone, I want it removed from the fucking game entirely. That's my like ideal.
It does a pretty good job too of just be like, get that out, get that gone, don't want it, don't need it.
Mm-hmm. And we also wanted removal spells that are creatures, so that we don't die to not having any blockers ever. Some of those are like the Disruptor of Currents that like ETBs and unsummons a guy, and then Jill, Shiva's Dominant, is another ETB and unsummon a guy. And Summon Valifor does the same sort of bounce thing. And then we've got the Horned Lock Whale and the Fairy Mastermind, not Fairy Mastermind, the other fairy, Brazen Borrower, as adventure spells. I really fucking like those two in particular, because I just like, get this on summon, and here's a body that's gonna fucking beat you to death.
Yeah, just, all right, we're back in, throw a sword on this evasive body, go.
We've got just normal ass resculpt, reality shift, path, split up as a wrath. I'm on Return to Dust because I'm not too like good for that.
Hey, I got a alt art copy right on my desk here that fucking, if you need 2 things gone, it is the spell to use.
Hell yeah. You gotta just fucking make 2 things go away sometimes. And a really good one in this particular deck is the Legend of Yangchen. Starting with you, each player chooses up to 1 permanent with mana value 3 or greater from among permanents your opponents control and exile those permanents. And they're just fucking gone, and it gets around hexproof.
Oh, because it's choose and not target. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We were playing against this O'Hare Ashenil deck, and some Grixis bullshit in the corner that I don't remember, and then another person, and I was just like, O'Hare Ashenil, I want it gone, and then they made it gone.
And all right, rip and pepperonis, we're not having that land reanimator thing happen.
Yeah. There was also another gamer in that same game who was like, hey, if can we draw cards with the second chapter ability and I don't blow up the Legend of Yangchen? And I was just like, ... And now you should probably blow it up.
I'm gonna be real with you. Don't let me do it.
I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, Chief. I do not want you to draw any fucking cards, so no, I'm good. Oh, they were New Judith, who does the usually board wipes.
Oh, the board, yeah. Deal
so
death
like,
touch damage.
I don't fucking think so, Judith.
Yeah, like you do you know.
So gameplay experience. Mission status, sick. Robust card advantage package plus the card advantage commander ensures that we have game actions every turn. Although the demands of the flip meant we needed to kind of play a turn behind unless we found a ramp piece, which is why the Stoneblade package is important here, because it's the ramp. But I was also thinking that maybe a couple more mana rocks might be good. Soul Talisman only taps for colorless, so that's still a good cut. That doesn't help us flip Sig, but maybe I don't know what exactly I would want.
The main other thing too with the Soul Talisman is like if you do not get it on turn 1 or turn 2, like, and unless you're reanimating it via like a Sun Titan or something, it's kind of awkward.
I can cast it with Buster Sword and Key to the Vault, so there's like plenty of ways to cheat it in. It's just,
as long as it's not in your hand.
Well, it's 100 card singleton format.
Listen, I don't know what to tell you. You could probably swap. Okay, I mean, we already said what you're going to swap that out for.
Yeah, we already said
maybe
we
then you
got it.
swap like, that's the thing. Like, you're trying to do the push and pull of like how many slots do you have dedicated for the equipment stuff. Like, I'm also only, hold on, let me triple check here. I guess you're heavy enough in blue where it justifies the Sapphire Medallion, but that also doesn't generate you mana.
I'm not cutting that.
No, all right, fair enough. Continue on.
There's just not a universe where I cut that particular cost reducer, because I have so much card advantage. I'm guaranteed to cast more than one spell each turn.
Yeah, fair enough. And then it pays for itself.
Exactly. Especially impactful when you're multi-spelling. So besides that, We did a very good job of farming mirror and sword triggers with our unblockable commander. And we were patting ourselves on the back about it. And then I put a screenshot in the chat here of this tense fucking game against the new Judith from earlier, that O'Hare Ashenale that we talked about. And the third player was Xavier Sal Poison deck.
Cool.
And we were doing this in bracket 3. I built the deck with the restrictions of bracket 2, but this serves enough redacted that we are just going to run it into bracket 3 pods, and if I find that we want to spend our game changer budget, then that'll be appropriate. But SIG is serving bracket 3, so we'll play that there. But the important thing here is we had a clone that was able to clone something of my opponents. I forget what exactly the clone was, but we cloned their Razorkin Needlehead.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then cast a Wax and Shape Thief to clone my clone. So I had 2 Razorkin Needleheads to their 1 Razorkin Needlehead. And everybody else at the table is just fucked.
Fucking just dying, eviscerated. Yeah, I had a very similar experience to that recently. It was not good to be on the receiving end of that.
Yeah, I think the clones were especially cool in this deck because I've got the Sword of Blink and Ramp and the ways to find it. I can reset them to whatever's going to be most impactful on the board state. We had this as something from the Xavier Sal deck that was... Oh, right. They had like a Pollen Bright Druid that entered the battlefield and proliferated. And so I cloned their Pollen Bright Druid, proliferated Yangchen so that she would go to the
flip chapter. Yeah.
And then it immediately got blown up because I didn't let them draw cards. So you know, it is easy come, easy go. But they, like, once the Pollen Bright Druid had done its job, I was able to flicker it with the Blink and Ramp trigger, and then it's the Razorkin Needlehead, and I'm doing way more damage than opponent is, and I'm fucking satisfied. If I literally have no idea who won this game. But that felt very good.
I mean, that's the thing right now is that, like, obvious, and again, it's like another thing I'll be talking about in a second for the soapbox, but it's like when you do have those moments where everything else is working out so well in a way that you're like, this is kind of Magic Christmas Land in itself, but I'm still have enough room to fail, or like the opponent still is like untouchable, that like you still lose. But then it's like, yeah, but I did all this cool shit in like a way that like sings to me. So
you can see the life totals are pretty close here. We're all at like single digits, so it's fucking tense.
Yep. And honestly, those types of games do a lot more for you and are a lot more impressionable and memorable than just I win the game, scoop up for another one, and then like you cannot remember what the fuck happened for the most of that game.
We had another game where I was just like, my plan to cast spells and not pay mana for them was enacted incredibly. Cast a bunch of free spells off of Buster Sword, Key to the Vault, and Chimil. Chimil discovers me into a split up, which like in that particular moment wasn't good, so I put it into my hand. And then we get down to the 1v1. Opponent attacks all of their creatures at me, and I've been doing a bit of life linking, so my life total is quite padded from where it was previously, and we could take that swing. But if they get one more swing, then they absolutely win this. But I keep that fucking thing on me. I still got the split up in my hand. So we untap. All of my guys are untapped. I wrath. Their guys are fucking toast because we kill all tapped creatures. And then we swing for big damage. And like, that's not enough to kill, but we have absolutely secured the W. So shout out to Split Up in that particular case. And this is another fucking lifelink is extra turns message.
Yeah, I've some of the I've read a few cards recently and have some deck ideas where the lifelink does enough. I think I can't remember who was talking about it in the Legendary Creature Discord, where they're like, incremental incidental life gain is like really good, but dedicated strategy is like not only a snarfest but also like, all right, buddy, let's calm down here, you know.
Just having
Still-
like a Baneslayer Angel will go a long way to win you games, I found.
I do need to put a Baneslayer Angel in the deck because
It
there are
doesn't
too
even
many
have to actually be Baneslayer Angel proper. I am just using that as a
but-
stand-in for any like 5-mana lifelinker with flying or whatever. Like Aquazotz is a Baneslayer Angel.
I know we were talking about Trostani in LCP, and I'm like, yeah, that seems like a kind of creature I would want to put in the Trostani 3 Whispers deck where I want to give it like double strike and all this stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I got a couple that I've been like sitting on. I'm like, we have enough dragons and demons and stuff that show up that can be kept in check.
Oh, goodness. I will never fucking forget that moment where I had Dragonhawk and somebody was swinging at me with a Baneslayer Angel, and I'm like, what do you mean protection from dragons?
You can't do this to me specifically. What the fuck?
Oh, wow. I'm just like, wow, you can absolutely still die to Baneslayer Angel in 2020. I think 5 it was back then.
Yeah,
but like,
at the time, but like close enough. Yeah.
to this day, you can still die to Baneslayer Angel. Stay safe out there.
I don't know. People are fucking dying to fucking oh shoot, double slapping 1-800.
Zatalpa?
Yeah, Zatalpa.
Yeah, people
fucking
are dying to Zatalpa in 2026.
Yeah, like it happened. I witnessed it. I saw it happen. People were like, "Fuck, I can't do anything about it." And I think I even saw a Reddit post, I think this morning, where people were like, damn, I'm not advocating for Zatalpa to be like this really like big quote unquote like undervalued thing, but he's like, yeah, it fucking still does the work if people aren't fucking prepared for it. And I'm like, yeah. So
that's why I keep it in my Abzan mid-range reanimator deck with Teneb the Harvester, because when you're fucking 3 board wipes deep and it's time to close the game and you see that double flapping over the horizon, the game is over.
Yeah. I was thinking of, again, like we're tying it into like the Selesnya Trostani thing where I think I might put the deck together for a bit and see what happens. But I was thinking weirdly of a Selesnya discard reanimator deck and see how that worked out. I just I just don't know the logistics for that. So I'll get back to you in 2 weeks. I don't know.
Like every copy of Mulch and every copy of Breath of Life.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I gotta figure it out. But I was like, who needs Golgari? Like let's change it up. Let's do like this weird ass Selesnya one. We'll find out. I don't know. We'll play with the idea.
All right. Well, looking forward to it.
Okay.
So yeah, play Sig, gamers. He's a strong card. He'll hold your swords real good. Trust him with them. He will also guide somebody else into the red zone if you need multiple combat damage triggers. Get in there.
I put him as a copy in my what was it? Shiko Paragon deck as a way to like get stuff through. So
yeah, that makes sense. Good card.
It'll do it.
Is this about time where we bring in the elevator music?
Yeah, the little special one that you got going on for this week.
Yeah, I finally fulfilled a request.
Yep, Devil Trigger's good. All right. Okay. So this is going to be a really weird one. And it might go on for a little rambly. And I got some like templating here, but like it might go out the window. So
you did your best.
This one's really complicated because it ties into the New Year's resolutions that we were talking about, where I'm like, all right, it's time for me to change it up and play some game changers. And then they also were like, they kind of changed how tutors were considered with like the game changers and the brackets and everything. But let's really give context on like what I'm trying to think here, because I need some kind of therapy. Like I need to talk about my thoughts on the bracket system, my aversion to certain types of like gameplay patterns, my aversion to game changers, like pretty much full sail, and like how do I deal with combos? So like one of the things that came up, it was recently like a thing in LCP, where people were like, man, I just like really dislike playing like combos in Commander because like there's no satisfaction in it. And then everyone's like, oh, hey, Andy, how about like, you know, maybe we make it a therapy session, and like, you know, that didn't really go anywhere. And then I'm like, hey, Andy,
you have your own podcast.
Yeah. And then I remembered, I'm like, Andy, how about I come on and do it with you? And then I'm like, I have an entire fucking section dedicated for this shit. But the other thing too, when I gave him the snip of like an earlier version of the thing, I'm like, hey, so this is what I'm thinking about talking about. And he's just like, I don't want to do it. I rebuke it in the name, you know?
Fair enough.
So I'm like, okay, all right, then, you know, in a way it's like, okay, I do need to think about this stuff because, for all the things that I do, like, yes, I may be a whimsyless fool, but there are a lot of things I really do enjoy about Commander. But one of the things that I don't like about is how, because of my aversion to it and be like the practice what you preach kind of thing of like, well, I don't want to play these game changers because like I think they're bad social patterns. Not everyone agrees with that mentality and they still play those cards. So like, what the fuck am I supposed to do, right?
It's tough when you have these rules for yourself and nobody follows the same rules.
Yeah. So let me try and read out like my little thesis statement here and see if we can make some sense into it. And then I will go into some like points and examples of like, maybe I gotta like re-examine like my mentality on some of this stuff. Cause like it's been an ongoing thing even before like the bracket system was announced. So yeah, so here are my very complicated thoughts on game changers, the bracket system, and this overall Commander soapbox. And then my frustrations of not playing cards that other people have no qualms or issues with playing, and also maybe possibly rationalizing my feelings about the hatred of some of these cards. Preface.
Okay, go ahead, get it off your chest.
I have a severe aversion to some of the cards and like gameplay concepts that I want to talk about, and it'll probably come across as a little preachy. And I honestly do wish that some of these cards didn't exist or that people didn't play them. But I can't enforce that shit in any way. So I gotta come at it from really like the practice what you preach angle, like I said earlier. I don't like the cards. I don't play them as simple as, you know, fetch lands, farewell, aristocrats, go on, you know. The other part is that, you know, we really do got to talk about like the commander format panel and the original rules committee and the commander advisory group. They got a lot of flack, and they get a lot of flack over the years for like trying to manage a format. And even factoring in like the very explosive end of the old rules committee before it got reformatted with WotC, it's kind of a huge blow. I think it's really a huge blow to us as a community. On the one hand, you know, okay, it's backed up by a company and people are being paid for their effort and it's not volunteer work. Like that's all good and fine and dandy. But the way things happened and where the foundations were versus where they are now, you know, things are different. Like I had a lot of trust in the rules committee and the commander advisory group. I think that a lot of the people that were volunteering their time, that were being invited on or whatever, like, they're not just some shadowy cabal, like for the most part, outside of the people who are very prolific content creators. Like they are people just like you and me who want to play a game and have an image and a vision for where they want Commander to be. And for most of the like their conduct and how they acted, like they offer a template of how they want everyone to like play this game. And, you know, I felt those types of people could be trusted with the format far longer and far better than the quote unquote power gamers of the Magic world. They're like, when the people are like, oh, just unban everything. I'm like, whoa. You're crazy talk. Insane. Relax, you know. We have a ban list for a reason, and, you know, social bannings or discussion regulates the rest. The weird part about that is like people didn't know who these people are, and there's still people who don't know who the fuck are on like the format panel. So like the further out you kind of go, like the more disenfranchised that you talk to people, like they just don't care to know who these people are. They're like pretty good with the rules and the way things are being handled, or like they just didn't care enough. They're like, yeah, no, I'm playing Commander with my friends. That's good enough. But it's just so weird to like have no knowledge. They're like, who's Jim LePage? You know, shit like that. I'm like, so anyway. So the changing of the hands and the eventual rollout of the bracket and game changer guidelines, not factoring in again the bannings, then the death threats and everything that forced them to hand it over to WotC, which by the way I'm still fucking pissed about, and I'm kind of a little hesitant about what this means for the format in the long term. I do feel like the brackets and the game changer list is a nice change of pace than just having a banned list and a banned as commander list. It does require refinement, and it does require iterations to kind of smooth things out. And they're obviously not rules. They're more like guidelines via like Pirates of the Caribbean piracy shit, you know. It's a social tool that allows people to come together and make an agreement of what that bracket means and what it entails. Now, let's talk about the real true battlegrounds of where most people brew and play, and that's where I like to be. It's bracket 2 and bracket 3. But let's specifically talk about bracket 2 for a second here. My main issue right now is that I very much like what bracket 2 as a concept has to offer. I brew decks with the sensibilities that line up more with what was going to be asked of bracket 2 before it was even like created, because I don't fucking like game changers. And maybe I should have changed how I wrote this, but it's like I don't like truly mean cards, and I don't know necessarily what I meant. That means like I don't like mass land destruction. I don't like things that like completely strip people of their agency. I don't do like Teferi's puzzle box or whatever the fuck thing is, where it's like just lock people out of the game and you can't do anything and go fuck yourself. Like I don't like doing that stuff. But most of the people that I play with like you and Light Medusa and the people that I play with in person, all this other stuff, they're more likely to just go straight up into just doing bracket 3 shit. They use up their 3 game changer allowances. Tutors aren't off the table. Like they don't mind dabbling or prolifically using some of them. 2-card combos like come up. Sometimes telegraphed, sometimes out of nowhere. No one has the same compunctions to hold themselves back. So why should I, right? Or why should I? You know, why do I do it? Which ties into the whole New Year's Rezzies things. So I'm going to go through a list here of the things that I have an issue with. And the main thing here is that I have a very emotional reaction to a lot of these things. And then maybe I can try and apply like logic to them. So
yeah, let's get in there and wrangle with it and see if we can maybe make some sense of it and find a reasonable place for you to land on.
Brackets are guidelines, but not everyone agrees. We are playing a very subjective, it is a casual format, right? Like there are no high regulations. The bans, yes, are bans and they are enforced, but the ultimate like spirit of the word of law is like kind of do whatever as long as everyone agrees. So most people are going to build with brackets in mind. Now that's another social tool. But more specifically is that when it comes to what people consider to be bracket 2 and bracket 3, irregardless of the game changer allowances or tutors or whatever, is like, okay, some people think that bracket 2 is what bracket 2 is. If you do not have game changers, your deck is not bracket 3. But then you take the context of what some people are talking to and provide, and like, hey, other friend, what do you think of this person's deck, or what do you think of this group? And people are like, well, that is bracket 3. And there's a lot of factors that go into it. It's like, this isn't factoring in a person's capacity for building decks or being a good player, right? So you and I often say, and have said to other people, that I think my Audric Bledker's deck is a bracket 3 deck, but it is a game changerless bracket 3 deck.
Mm-hmm.
But if I share that with Andy's like, nah, man, that's bracket 2.
Well,
and that's it.
It means a different thing on the Galapagos Islands.
and exactly. So it's like the main thing is that even with these extra guardrails, there's not a clear consensus of like what exactly bracket deck is. Like, maybe let's say I put game changers into Audric. First of all, I don't even know what those game changers would be. It certainly isn't going to be farewell, but is that going to spike the power level of the deck? Is it going to do something that like, what am I putting in going to be synergistic with what the deck is aiming to do? Like, I don't know.
Just fuck up your whole curve for Smothering Tithe. You'll be fine.
No, I think I'm good to pass on that. Like, I'm good to miss me with that. But I do have to think about it, right? And ultimately, like, brackets are what people make of them. And people have often talked about, like, how people were like, well, I'm going to build a bracket 2 deck that is the spirit of bracket 2 and it's the most degenerate shit, like, that you've ever seen in your life. And it's like, there's dissonance. There's a dissonance there, and it comes up all the time. And so does it impact my games in a way that, like, I'm not really quantifying or not really thinking about? I don't know. But for the most part, regardless, I build like I'm in bracket 2, but the gameplay experiences I'm aiming for are more bracket 3. So maybe I should not be a fucking hipster about it and start using my allowance, you know? And see where that goes.
Or maybe consciously build for the bracket 3 experience.
Yeah. This is just a sticking point, or just like a thing where I'm like, does this really fit into this whole thing of things? Like, this whole thing. Rhystic Study is a card I fucking hate. I fucking hate this card.
Yeah,
and it
dude,
always comes up
sucks.
because people are like, well, but Rhystic Study is a game changer, so it's okay. And I'm like, I feel like we're having a completely different conversation here. So so we have the ban list, we have the game changers, and then there's a boatload of cards that are socially regulated, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, when it comes to like the real sticking points of like, hey, not only are these game changers always showing up in decks, but people are like vehemently defending them, right? And Rhystic Study is like the one card where it's like best in slot, people are putting it in a bunch of decks, and it's like, hey, but besides it being a good fucking card, what are you getting out of it? And why do you
an answer for this, actually. I think that it goes in bracket 4 jail, first things first. But that said, Rhystic Study is one of the few things that is keeping you safe from me, the Storm player.
In the sense of like, you're going to be a greedy gamer and you may or may not be paying the taxes.
If I'm looking to play Storm, I have to respect the Rhystic Study, or they will draw into their counter magic, and they will interrupt my plan at the least opportune moment for me. So if I don't want to get fucking blown out by that mage, then I have to play more carefully. I have to pay for the Rhystic Study every time, and wait for a more appropriate window to go for it, when perhaps maybe I've silenced them or something, and you just like... Storm players should have to fucking work for it, and Rhystic Study is one of the few ways that we have to make them work for it.
Okay, and I guess in the same like conversation of like, okay, if I have to silence someone, why the fuck do I have to do that, right?
Because
like,
it's bracket 4.
No, I know, but I'm not talking about bracket 4.
5.
But yes, like but okay, but like so that's the other thing too, is like there are people who want to play at those brackets. Now, I don't play with those people, or at least it doesn't come up a whole lot. And then, like Lenny's like, can I go real sicko mode? Because I got a deck on the shelf and I haven't been able to play for a while. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, it's not really my thing, because now suddenly it doesn't feel as fucking casual. It feels fucking sweaty as hell, where why now if I'm playing at the big leagues, that means I got to pack a silence or some shit in my deck now. Like, come on, I gotta have
playing Conqueror's Flail. That still works.
Yeah, it still works, but so let's go take a look a little bit further. Free spells. No, not more at 11. It's my fucking bedtime. Please stop.
You fucking had it with the clever concealment.
I witnessed a fairly cool, fun deflecting SWAT happen. Someone had their Forgotten Ancient really big, and they were hoping to put a boatload of counters on one of their creatures, to which then the effect was defecting slotted onto their ending Pikal. So then that got counterspelled, and that was a whole other thing. But I popped the fuck off, even though, despite the fact that deflecting SWAT in itself... Wait, was it deflecting SWAT? Deflecting SWAT's the red one, right? Anyway.
Yeah, deflecting SWAT changes the targets.
Yes, so it was on the Game Changer list, and then it wasn't on the Game Changer list. So it was like, I felt vindicated, and then it was taken away, and I felt like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But the long and short of it is, is that at higher brackets, people are like, okay, well, I have an allowance, but now I have access to free interaction. And when it comes to things where it's like, by playing the fucking game, this spell is free, I feel as if I'm being fucking cheated, because I don't allow myself to play those cards. It feels like, we make a bunch of treasures nowadays in like a lot of Commander games, because a lot of engines just allow you to have that extra resource. But I'm like, at least then you have the extra mana to be like, oh, hey, by the way, I'm going to counterspell or negate, or God forbid you fucking play mana drain and I want to reach across the table and strangle you to death. But essentially it's like, sometimes not even I guess the other thing too is like, I'm not trying to factor in budgets or anything, but I am a player that's like, I'm not usually buying $30, $40 cards willy-nilly. Like, I'm usually getting a bling printing. And so it's like, when someone's like, not only I'm going to slap my fat fucking dick full of cash on the table and cast every good free counter magic and all this other stuff. I'm like, not everyone plays like that. So like, if we're not factoring in the people who will like play on Moxfield or Proxy or all this other stuff, like a bit of it is like, great, you're playing with your wallet, and that's still a point of like, okay, then Cole, why don't you just go to a printer? And like the other part of it is like, it's like the principle of it. Like, I'm not even going to print the card out either to play it.
Just like, I have the ability to print this out, and I don't want to, because I don't want to fucking play the card.
And I don't want to, like, I know that there's going to be those moments where, even if it's in bracket 3 or whatever, and I get to play a card like that, like, someone is going to be like, holy shit, like, great, now my whole thing is up in smoke, because nothing on your board state indicated to me that you were able to play a counterspell, or some kind of like interaction.
You gotta tell them about your point spread ahead of time.
And that's the thing.
I'm
like,
Cole. I'm playing bracket 3 Ashling, and my point spread is Jessica's Will, Fierce Guardianship, and Force of Will.
Cool. So none of those cards are in my fucking deck, but I understand the point. And I guess maybe that's the other thing too, is that like, not just say, hey, I'm looking for bracket 3, but like, what cards are you playing or not playing? And do what, like, not just like, I won't agree with that. Like, I at least have context of what's coming up. Like, yeah, I do run Flawless Maneuver or stuff like that. Like, I don't need to care about you playing Force of Will, because you still need to pitch cards to play Force of Will. But it's just that, like, the cost benefit is like play the game and you have your commander out and now you can play this free spell.
Fierce
versus
Guardianship is extremely free, like freer than a lot of the other free spells.
And you know, I get a little annoyed with it, and it's like, okay, well, why don't you just do it too? And I'm like, the point is, I don't want to. So like now I have to go to my deck building foundations and be like, how much more cutthroat do I have to be on my own interaction spells to make sure that like, or, you know, play Conqueror's Flail or any of these things where it's like, I want this shit to stick. Don't fucking touch my shit, right? Like, what deck building concessions do I have to do short of playing Game Changers?
You're just like, I'm just trying to play the game. I don't want to have to devote my 4 slot to resolving my Realm Shield of Archive.
I don't want to moonhold you, but God forbid I'm gonna fucking moonhold you. What does
the
moonhold
fuck is
do?
a moonhold?
Fucking look it up.
All right.
Or I think it's moonhold. I'm pretty sure, but so yeah. What's the next part here?
Oh, I just looked up moonhold. You were wildin'.
Yeah, I know, exactly right. Shy of just like actually casting silence or whatever, but you know, it's like, hey, fucking do not interact with me. You can't get shit, and especially if I do moonhold on your turn, go fuck yourself. I'd like to go to my draw phase. How about hold on? So let's go into the next part of like, okay, let's go talk about deck building. I have a tendency to power down my decks, perhaps to my detriment. If I commit heinous crimes and it leads to a crushing defeat to the table, rather than thinking of this may be an outlier in a total Magic Christmas Land situation that is the absolute potential of the deck, and that's through like natural card draw, no tutors, this is just the way it works out. I take that as a possibility of it happening again, not wanting it to happen, and as a sign to like remove or strip out the component that leads to that absolute like Magic Christmas Land scenario. And the reason that I do that is because I feel bad when it happens. If something happens where I'm like, I demonstrably completely crush my opponents with no recourse, that is a fucking terrible feeling. And is that an indication of like a bracket mismatch or something? Sometimes that happens, but sometimes it's literally like the stars align. Not everyone had removal. Sometimes you turn
one Soul Ring Signet.
Sometimes you do that. So, you know, when people are like, maybe don't play Soul Ring until turn 3, that seems like a reasonable thing and a measured thing to do. But you also have to hold yourself to it and not like whatever, right? And that's why I had like Soul Ring out of Audric Bloodcurse for a while, because I didn't want to run in that like situation. And then
games
Lenny
that feel
was like
outliers because you had that busted
Soul Ring. Yeah. And there are times where it's like, for example, I was playing like my Obosh and Ishin deck recently in a 3-player game, but it was just so cumulatively busted where even after they removed Ishin, there were still enough components afterward where it was just like, I attack
I didn't need him anymore.
Yeah, like, all right. I haven't modified Ishin after the fact, and I'm like, I need to keep Ishin for those games where maybe there's an additional player. Like maybe it's not a 3-player game. Like maybe it's a 4-player game. Like whatever seems appropriate for the pod. But I also know that sometimes there's going to be like that deck is not going to get off the ground. So I do take that as an outlier and in an unfortunate situation. And I'm not overcorrecting, which maybe is a sign of things that maybe I don't need to do that. But I just think that I need to understand that either it's like I really need to like not have that gut reaction and really just be like, what happened? Was it like, what are the factors? And then test it again. Like I should be more conscious, test it again. If it happens again, then be like, okay, maybe there's something going on here. But I would rather power down and take chances with that than stay where I'm at and be like, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm very self-reflective. Here's another point. Just fucking stupid bonkers value commanders in the zone versus the 99. I have powerful commanders in the zone. Ishin we just mentioned, and you know he's held back by Obush, but only like by how much. I have Nair of Heart of the Storm in the command zone. I got Megatron in the command zone. Am I going to list all of Mardu banger hits, probably. But, you know, I'm not averse to putting strong commanders in the command zone, but I also know that they sometimes start solving things, like they smooth things over. They generate mana, they offer card draw or whatever. And so I'm like, rather than try to put a target on my back, sometimes I will adjust and put them in the 99 or whatever, right? But when you're on the receiving end of those commanders too, and people don't have an aversion to them, I'm like, I know you want to get your fucking power gamer experience, but like you could go the hipster route, or you could take a more measured take, but it's just easier to justify certain cards being in the 99 because you do not have readily access to them. But when you do put them in the command zone and you're just very apologetic about it, like that can be really frustrating. Mm-hmm. So again, also, why the fuck did they not keep Yuriko and those particular Praetors they took off the game changer list in?
Great question. I would love to know why. I'm having so much fun playing against Vorinclex, Voice of Hunger in bracket 2.
Like, yeah, so it's like, now you reach the situation where it's like, okay, well, now I know that I'm playing against these fucking fuck-busted commanders. I now have to mulligan differently. Am I prepared to, like, just forego any advancement of my game state for getting removal, which I guess ties back into the whole heuristic study thing, whether you publicly know about it or not. It's like, I have to make deck building considerations on a fundamental level where I eat more veggies than my favorite Borbos, you know? Like, I just even in bracket 2, I have to be ready for the quote unquote play more removal thing because other people are not as apologetic about it. And if they have stuff like Yuriko in the command zone, it's like, you made me do this as I swords to plowshares their thing or whatever, like, you know.
Yeah, people are going to make you wish that you had removal, so you got to keep that fucking thing on you.
Yeah. And obviously then it goes into like, well, if I'm not playing as much removal, maybe I'll play more card draw. and then it goes on and on of like, I have to, is this an examination of my brewing technique, or is it like, what am I going to have to do to make concessions to have a functional deck that's powerful in the face of people that maybe rely on those fuck-busted commanders to get them in a good position or whatever, you know? Like, deck mana values are getting lower and lower and lower as people try to, like, add efficiency. They're like, why play Cultivate when I can play 3 Wishes, and so on and so on and so on. Then this was the one that came up recently, and I thought it was something that maybe we needed to talk about because you had to point out that Baron Step Siege had a second mode.
Never considered choosing Mardu on that.
So Baron Step Siege is 2 white and a black for an enchantment that says when it enters, choose Abzan or Mardu. Abzan is the beginning of your end step. Put a +1 counter on each creature you control. The second half, Mardu, says at the beginning of your end step, if a creature died under your control this turn, each opponent sacrifices a creature of their choice. This is still a comparatively like reasonable effect because it's only 1 edict at your end step. But I have a tendency to ignore more rude effects or play patterns in Magic as reasonably as I can or I want to. I am the Frost Titan apologist. I like freezing people's stuff down and taking their agency away that way to clear the way for me to smash and bash people's life totals down. But, you know, I'm not counter spelling policing people all the time. Okay, I have an abundance of targeted removal for killing people's stuff, but I'm not packing 20 board wipes. Aristocrats and edict effects I know can keep creatures off the board, but I'm not going to be playing Dictate of Erebos or Great Pack because the more oppressive of an effect, the more I recoil in horror of the direction I'm going, because not only am I making people feel bad, I feel bad doing it. And that really does like make me think about like how I look and assess cards. Like I said, yeah, the Mardu mode on the Siege is still pretty reasonable. I just I did not consider it a part of the card. And that's something that continues to kind of quote unquote plague me as I'm like trying to build decks of like, all right, this is the extreme point. Let's step back. Like that's, Ishin was getting a little boring and going the new angle. So like putting a companion on it adds a restriction I can play around with, while still having to try to like awkwardly maneuver around from going from 1 to 3 to 5 mana for some effects in a format where you're supposed to, maybe play on curve or whatever. So, could I lean into that more? Could I do things a little bit differently? I don't know. It's a deck by deck basis and obviously what the pod looks for, but I don't feel as if, I've been on the receiving end of some of those types of effects and been like, damn, this fucking sucks. Why do people play it? This one is also based on like when I mentioned about Lenny earlier about decks being on a shelf jail, either by the bracket that it's at or social convention or just some form of self-imposed exile. You can't be invited back if you keep bringing these decks out. So you don't, or you don't have a deck that's appropriate for the play group because they don't want to play at bracket 4 or you don't want to play at bracket 4. I obviously don't have this issue a whole lot anymore after the deck purge, but obviously like Flip Urabrask, the one that goes into the great work and everything, that's obviously a very strong kind of combo centric like legend that has 2 card combos and shit in it. I might need this deck for some reason. Sometimes isn't really a good excuse because that's still just a deck that's just left on the shelf untouched. And sometimes I don't know the best time. When is the best time to bring it out versus like, what's that special occasion going to really be? I obviously like Urabrask as like a character and like as a series of cards. So like it is the bracket 4 deck that also happens to feature all the Urabrasks in an unsynergistic way. So like, do I need to re-examine how that deck works? Is it okay to have a deck on a shelf as needed? I don't know. I just know that Urabrask doesn't come out to play the way like my other decks tend to, Do I need to flex my muscles? Like, I think maybe I'll send you the list as like, you referencing it maybe. But like, I sometimes am like, I would like to play this deck more, but at the back of my brain, I'm like, this is gonna fucking like, if it goes great, it's gonna go great. If it doesn't go great, it's gonna fucking suck. For other people, and I just really don't want to do that to them, Like that's the thing. I'm very emotionally driven, by like what I play and how I play it.
Yeah, I back and forth, dude.
Yeah.
The thing about that is you sign up for sometimes having a bad time on purpose, which is like why people watch sad movies or why people watch horror films. They want to have a bad time on purpose.
Yeah, and I'm not about that. At least not intentionally. Yeah, I don't know. The one thing is like the deck's still cool and everything, but I just know that it's not going to be appropriate for every pod. And I also like look at it and like, when we were doing the 24-hour stream and we were playing, like, I think I was playing against Etria or whoever. I was like, and it's like, all right, it's time to manually storm off and crush people by having Torbrand Thane of Redfell out with grafted exoskeleton like tacked onto Urabrask and just start poisoning everyone to death. And I had to manually do that, and fuck, that took way too much effort. Like, I hate it. Like, I loved it and I hated it. I was of two minds about it.
Maybe we just need a bracket 4 deck for you that's Esper mid-range.
Okay, let's relax. Okay. It doesn't have to be.
You've got the card advantage from the blue.
It's
plus
Mardu. It's got to be Mardu, and I won't accept anything else. So, as part, there are a handful of very niche tutor effects that have come in and out of this deck as an example. But tutors, people still play them. Sometimes I'm like, I can't believe you tutored for that. And I know we love joking about like, oh, the demonic tutor player, or whatever, like they tutored for that land that they needed because they kept a greedy keep in front of Empress Quinn, and you're like, ha ha ha, or whatever, right? But there are some people that are just like, yeah, I actively and consciously tutor for things to immediately smooth out my gameplay experience. There's someone who in our playgroup who made the 5-color Avatar Aang deck, and they're like, yeah, I have Worldly Tutor in here because it's Worldly Tutor. And I'm like, okay, but did you have to do that though?
Yeah, they gotta go find the next bender.
And then like there was some minor frustration of you being like, yeah, I'm gonna cast Cloud to grab the Buster Sword, and then I'm gonna cast the Sarima to go grab whatever, and I'll play Thalia
to go Thalia, who's gonna blink this Sarima, and then when that enters, I'll go find another legendary who matters.
Yeah, and I'm jokingly using the example of, hey, maybe I start playing Sunforger, which I'm trying to think of like all of my decks, and I'm like, I'm not entirely sure exactly where
Sunforger for a
goes.
lore and Searing Light will tilt me into the sun, and you will be fucking justified for doing that to me.
Yeah, and so it's like, I have tutors that aren't just game changers, but I'm still mentally like equating them because I like having as varied of an experience as possible. That's why I don't have the more specific land tutors or the fetch lands. Like you won't see me freaking cast a Terramorphic Expanse because I think they don't pull their weight, but other people do. So like, what do I know? But fetch lands alone, I'm like, that is breaking variance, because the first thing that I'm doing is either I'm getting a Surveil or a shock land, and then I'm doing something with it. That's delineating the deck in a way that I don't like. There was a clip that came up in Lexicon recently because Sunforger came up as a topic, of course.
Yeah.
To which then it's a clip of Bjorn being like, well, you're doing it to me, so I gotta do it to you. To which then he just fucking kills someone just for existing by tutoring for something with Sunforger. I couldn't tell you exactly what it was off the top of the head, but it was like, why was your immediate knee-jerk reaction was to tutor for the thing that just kills an opponent, Was it funny in the moment? Yes. Does that exactly help my point? A little bit. It's just, I guess I could afford to do it a little bit more and not be so worried about what the reaction to people are going to be. I put in some equipment tutors in Brea, and that's just a start. I have more Stoneforge Mystics as an example, and I do play a lot of equipment
dude,
and
let's
stuff.
get those in there. Let's sleeve them up.
So that, that's step one. But when it comes to like other tutors, it's like I just kind of need to accept the fact that it's like, if I can put a specific one that only looks for a certain subset of cards, I think I can be okay with that. Unconditional search for whatever, okay, maybe that can be a little bit iffy, and I might try to avoid them, but I think I need to accept the fact that other people are willing to do that. Whether that means like doing Buried Alive or what the fuck is the one that Medusa talks about? The Lotus
Light Dancers.
Yeah, it's like, well, Lotus Light Dancers is 3 color cards and gets you 3 cards, and it's okay. And it's like, yeah, but yes, and it's highly telegraphed and all this other stuff. But I don't know. It's just, I just kind of need to fucking get over it, and I just need to fucking do it. Whether Stoneforge is gonna be my way to get back into it or not, I don't know. But it's just like, play a gamble. You know what? I need to feel alive again. I need to play a gamble or something.
Yeah, dude, play a gamble. Play a Fervent Mastery, even. Play 3 gambles in a trench coat.
I do have them somewhere. I do need to do it. Let someone else get involved, Mm-hmm. And then finally, the last point that not necessarily has to do with any brackets necessarily, but
just like the choices that you're making for the deck building slot to bring it, as it were.
Like and maybe this kind of goes into the whole like I like the journey more than the destination, but the destination is the game has to end and there's got to be ways to go about it. I think I just need to fucking start cutting heads off a little more deliberately and try to not feel bad about it. Again, going back to the Ishin point earlier, yeah, it was a 3-player game, and yeah, it was Magic Christmas Land, and yeah, I fucking cut off some fucking heads. And it was like, cool, this is exactly what they want the deck to do. So like the proof of concept is working. It's just what about the other parts of it of like, if I'm left unchecked, yeah, obviously a deck's gonna snowball. So now it's like, I need to just start thinking about what is the turn? What turns are we at? Are we at like 8 or 9? And can I fucking go for it rather than giving someone the chance to come back? Because more often than not, yeah, if you do give someone the extra turn to kind of restabilize or something, they will claw themselves back
and they're gonna cut your head off with it.
Yeah. And I just like, the part of me is like, maybe I should show mercy, and then it blows up in my face more often than it doesn't. And I was playing over on stream with the brothers Jose. And KJ managed to claw back because I had the game in the bag. I was for sure going to win. The only thing that I had to do was have Inferno Titan deal KJ 3 damage, and then that would have been it. And then flooded strands would have died, and then I would have won the game. But part of me was like, I don't have to overly commit, and I was being way too cautious. And trying to be tricksy about it. And then Cage is like, cool, I'm gonna have this flash blocker come in, and then the, ETB trigger deal damage directly. Like, we're all single digits. Like, I should have just gone for it, but part of it is like sportsmanship, and the other part of it is like playing it safe and being nice. And I think I just kind of need to stop doing it. I don't know. If someone's like really having, like, if someone's having a really, really, really bad game and like they got nothing going on, like, I do want to grant mercy to that person.
Yeah, there's no need to kick people while they're down, but if you have the opportunity, maybe when you sense the moment, and your opponent's glowing weak spot shines particularly bright, you gotta just fucking hit them with the hidden blades.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Obviously, with the update that just happened, like, nothing's happened, like, nothing's going on. The changes, I'm not expecting everyone to suddenly be playing Biorhythm or anything, but I just think that if everyone's quote-unquote playing by the rules, but they're not playing by my rules, then maybe it's time that I join the table a little more earnestly and maybe try to not let my feelings get in the way of it.
Yeah, it's not gonna like break your paladin oath to come and meet people where they're at.
Yeah. So yeah, this is kind of overall been something I've been thinking a long time about, even before like the brackets really a thing. And did I address everything that I wanted to talk about? Did that all make sense? I don't know, but I think
so. I got a lot of value out of it. It actually like mirrors my experience with developing for the MTGO metagame, where I was bringing my like bracket 2 bullshit into like before the bracket system made a little bit of this more clear. But yeah, I was bringing my bracket 2 bullshit to those rooms, and they were like exclusively 3s and 4s out there. And just not having a good time until we started building more towards bracket 3. And then we got a little bit more like delineation with the bracket system, so I could find higher quality bracket 2 games, but you still have to fucking bring it for that metagame in a way that's different from paper. And just like trying to find that middle ground between my experience or like the cards and play styles that align with my moral code to what's going to be effective in that metagame took some time, but we landed on stuff that's comfortable, and you can get there too.
Yeah. I just think the one thing to kind of maybe cap this whole thing off is that, as fortunate as I am to have a lot of different people to play with, it can be hard to like navigate all of them. You know, one group is not the reflection of other groups.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
true. Some groups smoke mids for surezies, and other people only like loud.
Yeah, and you know, I've gone on record where it's like there are some people who only smoke loud, and I just find that absolutely infuriating, because it's like infuriating. Okay, cool. Infuriating, where it's like you only operate at that level, and like the topic came up with my IRL group this morning, because we were like, yeah, well, I can't wait till Risk Study gets banned. And then someone's like, well, who are we to do that to other people, even if we have the authority? I'm like, because Risk Study is fucking terrible. And then the conversation came up of like, you know, maybe we should change up what we play and maybe play CADH once in a while so you can have a growing appreciation for it. And already several of us are like, we're not only so invested in like regular Commander, but I really don't want to play at that level in any capacity. I have had bracket 4 games and where you do kind of have to be like that, and I'm like, wow, that's a lot of effort and consideration of my deck building that like I really don't want to do. I cannot play my favorite Blorbos and my personal signature cards at a higher bracket because they're just not efficient, or they're going to get blown out of the water in a way that's just severely demoralizing. And I'm not willing to
I played Jill in bracket 4.
Yeah, but you're like crazy.
I'm completely normal, actually. That deck is a normal bracket 4 deck.
Yeah. And it's just like, we know other people that like playing powerful stuff and playing highly synergistic stuff. You know, sometimes Medusa, as an example, has like really terrible games where she's like, cool, I'm gonna log off and go to bed. You know, and then there are times where she gets to do her win, or like gets to play fucking Indominus, and you're like, Light, please, for the love of God, like, you don't have to do this. And Light says, hold my dinosaur themed beer here and let me get away with it. And it's just, you know, people are thinking about this game on such a different level that I feel like I'm the alien and a fucking idiot. But that's just also the game. We're all trying to get together.
You just have a specific experience that you want and that you're trying to serve, and you just gotta find a way to make that mesh with meeting people where they're at.
Mm-hmm. So that's why I keep myself in bracket 2 hell and see what I can do there when everyone else is playing bracket 3 in earnest. So yeah, I don't know. So yeah, let's leave it there and see what people think, because I am curious to see what people were able to take away from this, and you know, whether you'll DM us in private or whatever. But I think about this game a lot, and I want to have a lot of fun when I'm doing it, and I want other people to have a lot of fun doing it, and I want to be invited back at tables. So that's kind of why the way I am.
Comment #Cole Corruption Arc if you think he should spend his Game Changer budget.
Jesus fucking Christ. All right. Where can we be found, Quinn?
You can find me personally on the internet at Girldick Energy. You can find Cole at the Bloodrick Guy. You can find both of us collectively at HBVC-MTG on Bluesky. And the show is available wherever podcasts are sold. We be co-hosting on MTG Lexicon's Twitch stream, so come through there on these Saturday evenings for a Commander that is most assuredly not sober and extremely casual.
One last thing to note, as Lenny is joining us for Smoking Mids, you can find Lenny at Ajanisgaypridemate. I'm pretty sure that's the only name that he uses for all of his social media stuff. So that's on Bluesky, that's on Architect. And you can also find him there with us over on MTG Lexicon on Saturdays. Alrighty. That's it.
That's it for us. Later, gamers.